Liang Chu, an ordinary young man with many illnesses, unexpectedly transmigrated to the great Shun world. A place of fierce struggles where the strong possess divine power and stand above all, while the weak are regarded as mere grass, subject to the whims of others. Upon arriving, he faced life-threatening danger. Just as life and death were imminent, he grasped at a life-saving straw, a system called Zaidi. From then on, everything was completely different. Liang Chu prepared to fuse with the bloodline of an ancient divine beast. His strength rapidly increased, his talent continuously improved, and he could even comprehend the skills of divine generals. With the Zaidi system in hand and the awakened water monkey bloodline, can Liang Chu embark on the path to becoming a true powerhouse, or will he stumble again in this cruel world? Let us follow his journey against the heavens in this story. The sun had just peaked over the distant mountain range, casting a gentle light on the tranquil lake. The water's surface was as clear as a giant mirror, reflecting the leisurely drifting clouds and the purple mountain peaks fading into the morning mist. Amidst this poetic scenery, a soft voice echoed, "Shui." Still that same voice, "Shui, what are you doing?" The voice came from behind Liang Chu. The voice made him stand there in a daze for a moment. Ba Shui, with a kind face and a benevolent smile, asked, "Silly child, why are you standing there blankly?" He replied hesitantly, "Father?" The old man happily grinned, patting his head, and said, "You really are a fool. Don't you recognize your father?" Ba Shui walked ahead, leading the way, and pointed cheerfully behind him, "Hurry, come help father pull in the net. Let's see what we caught today, and father will show you something interesting." Shui was stunned for a moment. Then he rushed towards the figure walking ahead, shouting happily, "I'm coming." The two, father and son, were together pulling in nets overflowing with fish. Both of them cheered joyfully. Suddenly, Shui was pinched on the foot by a crab, causing him to scream. Ba Shui laughed loudly at the sight. While eating fish, Ba Shui choked, causing both of them to panic. The two were happily playing, carving names and images into the bamboo stalks. Evening fell, the sky was dyed with gentle shades of pink and purple, the golden light of the sunset shone on the water's surface, and the small boat lay quietly by the shore, nestled among the reeds swaying in the evening breeze. The two, father and son, were quiet after a long day of hard work under the sunset. Suddenly, Shui spotted a carp. He shouted, "A red carp! Don't even think about escaping!" As soon as he finished speaking, Shui plunged down, catching Ba Shui by surprise. Shui sank deep into the water. The fish had disappeared. He searched suspiciously with his hands. Why isn't there any fish in the water? The more Shui searched, the deeper he sank. How strange, why can't I move after going underwater? His face twisted in pain from the water. He cried out helplessly, "Damn it, I can't move! Save me, father!" Under the moonlight of the cold night, the lake rippled in waves, the boat swaying with each surge. Shui suddenly opened his eyes and shouted, "Father!" But it wasn't his father. They were both strangers he didn't recognize. A deep voice sounded, "You're awake?" An old man named Zhang Laotu spoke with a sinister expression. "You were dreaming about your father again?" A man named Zhang Darren. He had been tied up some time ago. In a panic, Shui screamed, "What are you doing?" Zhang Laotu gave a sinister, flattering smile. "Darren is truly wise, luring this little brat to show us the way, but in reality, we want to use him as bait for the water monster." The three of them were on a boat heading to the middle of the lake. The old man turned his head to look at Shui, sitting there, and smiled wickedly. "We've been keeping watch here while you, little brat, were sleeping like the dead." He vaguely didn't know if it was real or a dream. So, it's a dream again? Going back to the time right after transmigrating back then, it's already been a month since I came to this world. The original owner of this body died of a sudden illness, and I replaced him in this world. The original owner lost his mother at birth, and was raised by his father alone. Until 3 months ago, when his father died from a cold. The memories and emotions left in his heart have now become mine. As for that day in the modern world, it's still Liang Chu lying in the hospital, experiencing an emotion I had never felt before. Returning to the present, Shui was on the boat going deeper into the lake, thinking to himself, in just 1 month, I've adapted to the original owner's relationships. Only to end up being used as bait for a water monster by the local official. After 1 month, I discovered that this world has extraordinary powers. Humans can cultivate to reach extraordinary realms. Those who succeed are called cultivators. In this world, not only humans can evolve and cultivate, but animals can as well, and are often called. Suddenly, Zhang Darren shouted loudly, "It's coming!" Zhang Laotu tensed up, his face changing, "The water monster!" Hearing this, a Shui turned his head. Under the boat, a large black shadow was surrounding them, as if it wanted to swallow everyone on board. Suddenly, the Taiwa crocodile lunged out of the water. He was so tense that his eyebrows almost touched as he calculated, "Damn it, didn't they say the water monster was only half a CUN long?" It surfaced, making the water splash everywhere. Zhang Laotu screamed, "Damn it, this one is too much." All three panicked. Zhang Darren pointed and shouted, "It's rushing towards us." He stood on the bow of the boat, speaking valiantly, "Finally, this moment has arrived." Zhang Darren took a stance. "I've been waiting for this moment for years." He swung his hand forward with all his might. "One strike will shake the heavens and the earth." The Taiwa crocodile opened its mouth wide and charged straight ahead. With a crash, the boat shattered like tofu. Zhang Laotu and a Shui were lucky to still be clinging to the boat, both screaming in fear. The old man's face changed. I can't die here." Zhang Laotu turned his head and glanced at him, suddenly realizing something, then calculated, "Damn it." The old man grabbed a knife and stabbed it straight into a Shui's hand. A Shui fell straight into the cold water in pain, syrup flowing from the back of his hand. He was still tied up and slowly sank to the bottom of the lake. A Shui struggled in pain, syrup still flowing. "Save me!" He tried to bite through the rope. The syrup flowing from the back of his hand had attracted the Taiwa crocodile. A Shui gradually suffocated and lost consciousness. I'm about to." He was in pain, unable to endure it any longer. A voice echoed, calling his name urgently. Suddenly, he opened his eyes. It was Ba Shui calling, a Shui, you silly boy, wake up." He replied hesitantly, "Father?" The old man reached out his hand. A Shui thought to himself, if only this were real, how wonderful that would be. The two hands were about to grasp each other. He grabbed the arm as if grabbing a life-saving straw. But it was actually a piece of wood. A Shui grabbed it tightly and surfaced, gasping for air. He was dazed. It's father's boat. The Taiwa crocodile rushed towards a Shui and dragged him underwater. He screamed in panic, "No!" It bit down hard on a Shui's leg and dragged him straight to the bottom of the lake, dragging him quickly to the cold bottom of the lake. A Shui was in pain. I've tried my best." He regretted and repented, "Father, I'm so sorry, truly." The Taiwa crocodile flung a Shui to the bottom of the lake. It rushed towards him, opening its mouth wide to swallow a Shui. He closed his eyes, helpless in the face of his cruel fate. Suddenly, runes appeared around him, enveloping his body. A series of notifications appeared. Jai Ding is being activated. Detecting stolen spirit, collecting, controlling water. The system notified, Xia Ling, Shui Ho Z can be collected, collecting, collection completed, refining successful, awakening. Hearing this, a Shui gradually regained consciousness and opened his eyes, starting to restore the body. He was confused. Didn't I die? Returning to the moment when the crocodile was about to die, in the water. A Shui struggled, in the water. Around his arm, strands of water enveloped him. Why does it feel like walking on land in the water? It seems like the resistance has disappeared. He was suspicious. The system explained, the ability to control water currents has been successfully collected, consuming stamina to control water currents. He was dazed, controlling water, even breathing. A Shui realized, surprisingly, I can even breathe underwater. He calmly noticed the abnormalities on his body. The wounds on my body have also healed. The Taiwa crocodile rushed from behind. It opened its mouth wide, making a Shui quickly turn his head. He covered his body in fright. A Shui was suspicious. The streams of water blocked its body, confusing him as well. Are these streams of water created by me? A Shui looked at the notification board and his face changed, realizing this, could it be the system that novels often talk about? So, in the water, I am no longer limited, I can even control it. The Taiwa crocodile still struggled with all its might. A Shui watched it struggle. Crap, there's a time limit for controlling it. It broke free from the stream of water and rushed over quickly. He quickly dodged the bite. Shui calculated, this can't go on, is there any way to control it? The system notified again, the ability to dominate blood talisman has been successfully collected. The notification appeared, and he smiled smugly, effective, through the host's blood, engraving ancient runes can form a contract relationship with water beasts. This is it. Both faced each other as if a life and death battle was about to unfold. The Taiwa crocodile rushed over quickly. It launched its first move. Shui made a move, control the water flow, first I have to control it. It was restrained and tied by the water streams. The water streams tightened to the point where the syrup veins bulged. It broke free and rushed over quickly. Runes appeared on Shui's palm with a red light, like a divine weapon about to punish demons. He chanted, and the runes fully appeared. Shui slammed the runes straight into the Taiwa crocodile's head. It painfully dragged him along with it. He exerted so much force that his eyes shed tears of blood. His pupils gradually changed, so, here, is it a battle of mental power? Shui's eyes gradually changed color, and scales also grew out. Am I about to fail? He remembered the moment when he was still fighting against illness. I must survive. Shui exerted his strength and made a final move. You little beast, submit to me. On the shore above. He crawled up from the water. Shui lay on his back, taking deep breaths. Alive, I'm alive. The Taiwa crocodile also surfaced. It crawled towards him. Sure enough, I finally subdued this monster. He instructed, don't worry, just stay here. If there's anything I'll call you later. Hearing this, it turned around and crawled towards the lake. He also thought to himself, after subduing it, I and it have formed a mental link, we can communicate at any time. Or it can contact me. After a long, tiring day, Shui's stomach rumbled loudly. I have to go home and find some food, and rest well. As he walked, he said, luckily, the integrated memories have a map of this area, it's not too far from home. The scene shifts to the Taiwa crocodile. It swam back to the cave. The place where it lived was decorated with calm lotus flowers. In the distant town, there was a noisy group of people. This is it, Steward Jing. Zhang Laotu flattered, Steward Jing this way. 139. Behind them, two people were whispering, curious about the fishmonger's name. Who are they? Are they going to Shui's house? The water carrier replied. Zhang Laotu and someone from the Xiao residence. Did Shui cause trouble again? Shui, Li Liba, Liang Chu's childhood friend. He worried, crap, Shui is in trouble. The four of them were heading straight for Shui's house. Zhang Laotu planned in his head and revealed a sinister smile. If this brat Liang Chu dies, wouldn't his family property be at my disposal? Just in time to compensate for the consequences of this mission's failure. He frowned, and the veins on his forehead bulged. It's all because that Zhang fellow is too weak. Zhang Laotu kicked open the door to Shui's house. He flattered again, Steward Jing, please go inside. Zhang Laotu was extremely smug. He was suddenly startled and terrified. Zhang Laotu pointed straight at Shui and shouted, You, why aren't you dead? With his eyes half closed, he asked, what are you doing here? Zhang Laotu screamed madly, You're not dead? Zheng Xiang was angry, what, dead or not dead? Why are you always so rushed and hasty in everything you do? He lowered his voice cowardly, Master Jing, this is the Liang Chu. He frowned and interrogated, You are Liang Chu? Zhao family steward, Xing Xiang, unexpectedly you didn't die, you truly have a long life. Zhang Laotu smiled smugly and smirked, indeed, a disaster lives for 100 years. Zheng Xiang ordered, take him away. Shui screamed in panic, what do you want to do? He was punched hard in the stomach and warned, say less. Zhang Laotu smiled sinisterly, what do we want to do? Steward Xiao, out of a desire to bring benefits to the villagers, invited martial artists, Zhang Darren, to subdue the water monster. He pointed at Shui's head, you, on the other hand, are good. You dared to collude with the water monster to kill Zhang Darren, causing our Xiao residents to lose such a large sum of money, putting the villagers in danger. His mouth was full of syrup, but he still explained clearly, you people set a trap to catch me, using me as bait to lure the water monster. Zhang Laotu screamed even more wildly, you killed Zhang Darren and still dare to come back, you're really too arrogant, you're a monster. Returning to his modern life, Shui remembered the past. A monster? In my previous life, I always lived alone, I was indeed called a monster. A past of shame, No parents, so everyone likes to steal? A thief. He was laughed at by everyone in school. Shui's eyes were full of resentment towards them. The fat guy provoked him, revealing the eyes of a monster again. If you have the ability, then hit me. As soon as he heard that, Shui rushed over and punched him straight in the face. Returning to reality, he was calculating, although I might reveal my abilities, surrendering is not my current style. Shui struggled and headbutted him hard in the stomach, causing excruciating pain. Losing his balance, he knocked over the shelf holding the water basin. The water basin was leaning. Shui sat down near the puddle of water. Even if I really become a monster as you say. He put his hand into the puddle of water, and streams of water began to envelop his arm. I will also bite off a piece of your flesh. Zhang Laotu was both scared and flattering. You still dare to make a move, I say, Steward Jing. Let's just directly take him back to the Xiao residence. He smiled wickedly. Aren't we short of someone to feed that thing? I think this kid, without father or mother, seems reasonable. Jing Xiang's expression was gloomy. Hey, if you agree to be the adopted son of Zhao Lei, Zhang Daren's matter can be forgiven, otherwise, today I will chop off your legs. Everyone around was standing in front of the house, looking inside, and discussing its adoption again. I heard that the people in the neighboring county, once they enter the Zhao residence, there is no news of them anymore. Recently, the Zhao residence has indeed adopted quite a few people. It's really strange. An old but spirited voice came. Let me see who dares to bully Xiao Shui here. Chen Zhaoan appeared alongside Li Ba Ba. Old Li Jing, I'm not dead yet. Li Jiang. Seeing this, he pointed at his face. Old man who won't die, you. Li Jing was so angry that sparks flew from his eyes. You what? I am an official in the current dynasty. What do you want to do? Are you planning to attack a public official? Jing Xiang helplessly uttered I. The more he heard, the angrier he got, to the point that Li Ba Ba had to support him from behind. I what? Your Zhao Lei has to give me some face, if you say any more. I will lie down right here. He was so angry that he trembled. This old man who won't die. Jing Xiang's face changed slightly. Old man, today I won't argue with you. Wait until I go back and report to Zhao Lei. This matter will not be over. All the lackeys went out. Let's go. Zhang Laotu still glared hatefully. Like your father, not knowing what's good for you. They all left. Li Jing gave some instructions. Shui, some things, avoid them a little if you can. He replied happily, Thank you, Li Jing. Shui will remember your words. He and Li Ba Ba went back. He said, Don't watch any more, disperse. Shui unconsciously looked at the palm of his hand. I wonder how many more times such things will happen in the future. He sighed. Li Jing can save me once, but he can't save me every time. 195, the system announced, discovered the essence of the water swamp, evolution plus 0.1. Shui was both surprised and suspicious. The essence of the water swamp? He came to the lakeside. Shui used sound transmission to call the Taiwa crocodile. After subduing that Taiwa crocodile, I can call it at any time through the mental link. The calm water suddenly rippled slightly. The water rippled even more violently. Suddenly, water splashed everywhere. The flamboyant crocodile also flew out of the pool. Shui was surprised by its cute appearance. Where did my big crocodile go? The system appeared. The aquatic beast that has been subdued can freely adjust its body size according to its will to control energy consumption. Evolution level +1. Chibi, small crocodile, energy consumption, extremely low. He was happily smug. It even has this feature, as expected of the system. Shui happily gave the order. Oh right, that watery glaze essence, where did you find it? Lead the way. It seems to be in a cave underwater, this place is. After hearing this, it plunged into the water. He swam after it. Both of them swam towards the deepest part. It seems to be in a cave underwater. Shui was suspicious. This place is. He was surprised. It's too magnificent. Shui realized, these things could it be, the legendary treasure plants. He touched it. The system notified again, treasure plant watery glaze essence detected, please choose to absorb. The system explained to Shui, this world indeed has heavenly treasures that have absorbed extraordinary power. And these plants with special effects are called treasure plants. He recalled, it is said that in the backyard of the Zhao mansion there is a cold pond, and some special lingji grow there. Master Xiao uses them all year round to attract martial artists as guests from all directions. Shui was happily excited. I want to see how much watery glaze essence these treasure plants can provide me. He curiously asked the flamboyant crocodile, "Oh right, do you have time to help me a bit?" After hearing this, it pretended to fall asleep. Xiao was helpless, so lazy, you can't even be called upon to move. He climbed ashore. Xiao held the treasure in his hand, overjoyed finally. Before he could wait, he took a big bite, and the notification appeared again. Watery glaze essence detected, can be used to upgrade the harmony level of the marsh spirit and the evolution level of the aquatic beast. Xiao happily exclaimed, "So delicious." As he ate, he listened to the notification, "Watery glaze essence +1, watery glaze essence +1, watery glaze essence +1. Xiao ate so much that his stomach was full. Refining marsh spirit, water monkey, white, harmony level 7.5%, watery glaze essence, none, aquatic beast leader. Flamboyant crocodile, consuming 800 points of watery glaze essence can evolve, evaluation. He looked at the notification and pondered, the harmony level of the marsh spirit and the evolution level of the aquatic beast, Ding Zhu, Liang Chu, refining marsh spirit. Water monkey, white, harmony level 5%, watery glaze essence, 25, aquatic beast leader, flamboyant crocodile, consuming 800 points of watery glaze essence, can evolve. Evaluation, prioritize improving myself first. Xiao pressed the button, add. As soon as he pressed it, he received a rich source of power, and could feel his body improving rapidly. With this power, he could completely fight those people from the past. And if he added the power of the water stream in Xiao's palm also changed. The ability to control the water stream reached about 45 kilograms. He calculated, next I have to accumulate for a few more days. I probably can't eat any more today. Xiao continued to consider, right now the most important thing is the economic problem in the future. It's almost late autumn. The crocodile's blood circulation is slow at this time. It's about to enter hibernation. Catching fish temporarily can't be relied on. A fish was thrown up. The flamboyant crocodile threw it up, surprising him. Xiao hugged it happily. There's hope, then, this temporary economic crisis can be solved. Just take it to the market to sell it. In the vibrant forest where light shines on all things. He rejoiced. A big goldfish can be sold for 80 won, a little profit. Xiao played rock paper scissors with the merchant. The merchants in this world can't compare to the vegetable sellers in the market in his previous life. They are easily persuaded. As he held the money, he thought, after solving the problem of watery glaze essence, next I need to find time to settle accounts with that Zhang Tu properly. Lai Tuzhang recognized him. Isn't this Xiao? He was as ingratiating as a close relative. A few days ago we had a small misunderstanding. My little brother was planning to find you to apologize. What a coincidence. Lai Tuzhang was polite. My boat is nearby. Let's have a good meal together, and resolve the misunderstanding. He smiled insidiously as he calculated, rest assured, it's just us, I'll see where else you can run. Xiao smiled inwardly. He happily replied, great, just the two of us, I'm very relieved. Lai Tuzhang was interrogated by Jingxiang. He was beaten black and blue, he said, recently there have been problems in the mansion's experiments, many people have died, the mansion is lacking medicinal materials for refining pills. And this Liang Chu is an orphan with no relatives. Jingxiang glanced at him, you understand? Even with his face swollen, Lai Tuzhang happily replied, I understand, that kid Liang Chu will definitely not escape. I will tie him back tomorrow. He came closer and instructed, if you do well, Master Xiao will also invite those great figures to help you become an immortal. He suspiciously asked back, really? Jingxiang looked down on him, of course it's true. Lai Tuzhang was so happy that he trembled. I'm also about to become an immortal. I'm also about to. He tore open his shirt on his stomach, revealing a layer of demonic runes. It's finally about to happen. Lai Tuzhang shouted crazily, I'm about to become one. Switching to the reality on the boat, there were only him and the old man. Lai Tuzhang cooked and chatted, Xiao, you see, the scenery here is so beautiful, there aren't any other boats around. While Xiao wasn't paying attention, he put a poison pill into the bowl of soup. We will have a good meal together, and resolve all the misunderstandings. He glanced boredly. Are you sure there aren't any other boats around? Lai Tuzhang laughed triumphantly. Of course, I surveyed it carefully. In his imagination, Xiao was painfully clutching his throat, foaming at the mouth, of course, as long as you drink this bowl of fish soup, even if you scream until your throat is hoarse. No one will be able to save you. He was furious, and the water stream in his palm also appeared because of it. Then that's good. Lai Tudeng's face changed. Shui you? Shui used the move on his face. Lai Tuzhang was in pain from suffocation. He gradually lost consciousness. Lai Tuzhang collapsed on the side of the boat. He woke up to find himself tied up. He happily waved the money bag. You slept so well. Lai Tuzhang's face changed in fear. What do you want to do? Shui triumphantly waved it in front of him. It seems that you received a lot of benefits for getting me into the Xiao mansion. This is at least 2 taels. He fearfully begged. Shui, you, let me explain. He smiled smugly. You look around. Does it look familiar? Lai Tuzhang fearfully realized isn't this the place where you caught the water monster that night? Suddenly the flamboyant crocodile surfaced. Water splashed everywhere. He sat leisurely smiling. His face was so scared that he couldn't even cut syrup. He only knew how to shout, "Water, water monster." It came closer for Shui to stroke. I was a water monster. But now I'm my pet. Didn't you say I was a monster? Lai Tuzhang panicked and trembled. Monster, you really are a monster. He kowtowed hard in fear. Monster, Shui, don't eat me. I can tell you everything. He calmly said, tell me why Steward Jing wants me in the Xiao mansion, and why he's been recruiting so many guards lately. Lai Tuzhang was so scared that he could only explain, those people are all materials for Master Xiao to become an immortal. He needs to refine immortal pills to become an immortal. Those people were all taken away by him, and refined into pills. Shui pondered, so it seems that you have captured many innocent people, right? He was both scared and insidiously plotting. That's because I was forced, so that's why. Damn it, one day Master Xiao and his followers will turn you into pill-refining material, making you wish you were dead. He angrily picked up a rock and swung it hard. Shui, you see, Ken? Hitting him hard on the head, causing him to fall. But you've seen everything. Shui was so calm that it was as if nothing had happened, me with a monster face. He was dragged into the water by the flamboyant crocodile. Pulling me into the mansion is for pill refining. If I don't kill him, then the one who dies is me. The water surface was quiet. He considered his next move. It seems that I need to find a strong backer to have time to become stronger. He slowly sank to the bottom of the lake. Lai Zheng's stomach bulged and the runes also began to fluctuate strongly. A crane flew over the side of the boat. It landed 1 foot down, perched on the bow of the boat. A hand emerged from the water, clinging to the side of the boat, causing the crane to fly away in fear. Shui, soaking wet, sat on the boat. On his shoulder was Bukudong. He turned to look at it, and breathed a sigh of relief. Shui looked at the stream that was slowly gathering in his hand. He smiled. Having power is really convenient. Shui took the shell off his shoulder. He poured the fish out, killing that. Lai Tuzhang has been 3 days. During this time, to cover up, I always pretended to be an ordinary fisherman, going out to sea early in the morning, and I want to come back to sell fish. Lotus Lake is no longer being frequented. Looking at the fish quivering below, he couldn't help but think more. As for this boat, it was also used by me to exchange Lai Tuzhang for it. Shui recalled when he cried and complained to everyone. Lai Tuzhang bullies others. One person among them couldn't bear the anger and spoke up, this damn Lai Tuzhang. Moreover, he couldn't be completely at ease. However, the forces of the Xiao mansion will definitely not let it go easily. Lai Tuzhang's sudden disappearance will definitely lead to clues about me. Shui's face was serious. Only by becoming a martial artist faster can I protect myself. He had also thought of directions for himself, and the fastest way to become a martial artist is to join a martial arts school. There are 3 martial arts schools in Pingyang town, and the strongest is Yang Family Martial Arts School. He remembered the rumors he had heard. It is said that the director of the Yang Family Martial Arts School possesses the mythical ability to split gold and cut stone, so they can sit firmly in their position. Shui knelt on one leg and looked down. As long as I can join this martial arts school, the Xiao family will not dare to move me easily. After all, the disappearance of members in the military will cause no small amount of trouble for the martial arts school. He scratched his head and sighed. But to join the military, it takes at least 5 to 8 taels. Right now I only have 2 taels. It seems that I can only try to earn more money. Shui suddenly smiled. Bukadong looked up at him. Shui laughed loudly as if he had figured it out. It's really unnecessary worry. Since the previous upgrade, The body has gradually adapted to the growing power. My spiritual power has also increased a lot. Maybe I can subdue 2 to 2.5 more Bukudong. He stood at the bow of the boat, looking towards the distance. Let's continue fishing. Shui at this time had dived into the lake. After waking up, he felt that the activity in the water was becoming more and more agile. He looked at Bukudong and signaled to it, Bukudong, let's continue the competition. Competing in speed with those Bukudong is a recent training method. Bukudong understood. Shui burst forward, leaving behind a vortex of water. This move is the ability to control the current of water, so the water is maximized under the feet and then explodes. The disadvantage is that it is not sustainable and will quickly consume his strength. Temporarily no one can keep up with the speed. While relaxing, suddenly something rushed past him. A pink fish with super speed was swimming in front, scaring Shui with wide eyes. What is that? The abalone wagged its tail, turned its head to look at him. That is, an abalone. In this world, some species with special powers have evolved. This species of fish living in the swamp is called abalone. Suddenly another abalone swam over. There were two. I ate. Shui smiled. It seems warm today. It's usually very difficult to meet one, but today I saw 2. The 2 abalones accelerated and swam away from him. He turned and pointed to call Bukudong. Bukudong, go catch those 2. Bukudong quickly grew bigger. Its eyes lit up, taking the speed of light, sticking closely behind the abalone. On this side, Shui also tried his best to chase the remaining one. He clicked his tongue and cursed, damn it, I should have brought a fishing net. Shui swam faster. He put his hand forward, water control. In an instant, the abalone was surrounded by a ball of water. Shui quickly pounced and hugged it in his arms. Holding the abalone in his hand, he smiled happily, got it. But it seems unlucky today. Behind him appeared a huge creature, its eyes glowed brightly. Shui had no idea. He still put the abalone in the shell without realizing that its tail had brushed over his head. Today's harvest is quite good, it can be sold for a not small amount of money. As if hit by some force, he opened his eyes in surprise. Shui was knocked down by the large monster. Because the force was too strong, he spat out a mouthful of blood. The monster with bright eyes and sharp teeth looked down at him. Shui was horrified, gritted his teeth and looked at it. What is this? He regained his balance and stood up. It is said that at the bottom of the Yixing River there is a 6-barbed catfish that eats people. Too bad, I actually met it. Looking at the ball of water slowly gathering in front of the catfish, he exclaimed, what kind of move is this? It's going to attack again. Shui also didn't want to stand there and die. He raised his hand and gathered a ball of water control. The 2 sides faced off. The 6-barbed catfish was stunned. He still didn't relax his vigilance. It's really dangerous. Fortunately I reacted quickly. The catfish suddenly attacked. Shui quickly dodged. Damn, it's really cunning. Looking at the catfish grinning, he was shocked. This is smiling? While smiling triumphantly, the catfish felt itself shaking. Bukudong swam over, using its tail to knock it away. The catfish was caught off guard and opened its mouth wide, flying far away. Bukudong turned its head and swam towards the catfish, using its mouth to bite into its body. The catfish could only open its mouth and suffer. Shui watched from the side and spoke up, well done, Bukudong. He on this side also couldn't wait, reaching out to rub against the rock, causing his hand to bleed syrup, taking advantage of this time. Shui used his syrup-stained hand to wave it over. At this point, if I don't defeat it then I die. He lowered his hand, forming a curse, governing blood talisman. I have enough mental strength, I should be able to subdue it. The system sounded, warning that the host's actions will lead to mental overload. It is recommended that the host stop this action. Looking at the attack power from the governing blood talisman that he used, the system sounded a continuous warning. Mental power is too low, which will cause the control of the aquatic beast to be weakened. Please stop the action immediately. Please stop the action immediately. Warning, mental power is approaching dangerous levels. Please stop immediately. Shui couldn't stand it anymore. He gritted his teeth and shouted. His eyes widened. His whole body was shocked. The water surface finally became quiet again. Liang Chu emerged from the lake and clung to the boat. He climbed up, lying on the boat, panting, finally came back. Unexpectedly, the mental power of the catfish is so strong, I almost died. He smiled and turned his head, but looking at the catfish swimming next to the boat, the harvest is also great. He sat up, propped his chin and looked at it. You're so fat, let's call you a fei. Shui happily poured the abalone out of the shell. Next, it's time to deal with some of the results. He looked at the abalone in Bukudong's mouth. That one is a baby abalone. Shui reached out and stroked its head. Bukudong, you're really reliable. A face smiled happily. The two abalones were now lying with the other fish. He put an abalone in the pan. First, eat a small one to see if it can strengthen my power. In an instant, the abalone was only bones left. Shui smiled, picked up its two horns and looked at them. It would be great to leave these small horns as a souvenir. The system sounded a notification. Watery glaze essence plus 18. He looked at the added points with great interest. 18 points. The profit is comparable to 18 pieces of Ling essence. Shui rubbed his chin and muttered, if the small fish is like this, then the big one must be 3 times as much. It can reach 54 points of watery glaze essence. Now the fusion degree has reached 7.5%, plus the big and small ones, it can easily exceed 10%. He crossed his arms, looking at the pile of fish on the boat. But I must be patient. Right now the most important thing is to earn tuition, but maybe it's enough. Co-market, Yixing City? Shui looked around. He stopped, paying attention to the lively place over there. The Moon Festival just passed last month. Look at this, this is a once-in-a-100-year abalone. A young man triumphantly held up an abalone. The person next to him kept shouting and introducing, weighs 1 catty 3 tails. 6 fin. The surrounding people also talked about it enthusiastically. Abalone, is this real? Shui stood outside and guessed part of it. He also caught an abalone. He squeezed in. Excuse me. The person standing there recognized him and scolded loudly. Isn't this Liang family's prodigal son, going to reincarnate in a hurry? Shui walked closer to Qingjiaxiong. He coughed. We Bianshang people are truly blessed by the river god. 2 abalones were caught in one day. A person with a hidden heart interjected. What are you talking nonsense, kid? The Qin family only caught 1. Hearing this, he put his hand into his shell. I said the second one is not his, but mine. He raised the abalone for the surrounding people to see. It's mine. Those people laughed when they saw this. You, such an ugly fish as you also counts as an abalone. You must have found one and tried to sell it at a high price. Seeing them laughing, Shui didn't show anything. Qingjiaxiong looked at the abalone in his hand and disdained it. Suddenly someone spoke from afar. Isn't this Hongxue Lu? Everyone looked at the person who had arrived and was in an uproar. Isn't this the martial arts master of the Yang family martial arts school? It's real. He really has an extraordinary temperament. Brother Hu, how much are you selling for Qingjiaxiong? He scratched his face and answered with an embarrassed smile. Sir, what do you think is reasonable? Brother Hu heard this and asked, how much does this one weigh? Qingjiaxiong said, 1 catty 7 tails 6 fin. He offered a price. Will you sell it for 3 tails? Qingjia heard this and was as if he had struck the jackpot. He quickly bowed his head. 3 tails, sell, sell, sell. Shui saw this and also held out his abalone. Sir. Brother Hu looked over. He opened his mouth. Look at mine. Those people laughed. Still looking at yours, Liang family boy. You are really too shameless, provoking the martial arts master. We will all be dragged down by you. Brother Hu was shocked. This is Niujiao abalone. Shui smiled and introduced. That's right. 1 catty 5 tails 2 fin 1 fin, so it's called Niujiao abalone. Brother Hu came closer to him, pointed his finger and said, this one is 6 tails 5 su. Will you sell it? The surrounding people heard this and talked about it. 6 tails 5 su. Oh my god, my family hasn't had 6 tails of silver for generations. Qingjiaxiong's eyes widened in surprise. That guy in the crowd sneered, be careful, you may earn the money but not have the life to spend it. 11. Shui immediately agreed, sell, sell. Qingjiaxiong's face darkened and he put on his basket and left. Shui clasped his hands, a little confused, and asked, Sir, I want to ask why my fish can be sold for twice the price of Hongxue Lu. Brother Hu smiled and slowly said, the hard scales of Niujiao abalone can be used as medicine, made into face cream, which has the effect of refining qi acupoints, helping to break through blood vessels. I am currently facing this difficulty. It is very useful to me. Shui handed the basket to him. He clasped his hands and bowed. So that's it. Thank you, sir. Fortunately, the hard scales of that small fish are still kept. The sky gradually darkened. Shui sat in a corner counting the silver. Suddenly a figure came over. Liliba jumped out, grabbed his neck, and said happily, well done, kid, you have really brought glory to the people in our town. As Shui saw who had come, he spoke, "It's you. I haven't had time to thank you properly that day." Li Liba spread his hands and smiled slyly. "Then give me 6 taels." His face fell. "Dream on." As Shui stuffed the silver bag into his chest. "Oh right, let me ask you something. Do you know how much the tuition fee is for the Yang family martial arts school?" Li Liba smiled and poked his hand. "You asked the right person. My father is planning to send me there." He explained, "Old Yang's martial arts school requires 7 taels of silver, not including room and board, 10 taels including room and board, 20 taels including room and board and medicinal bath. Although it is a bit more expensive than the other two, it is also worthy of the higher professionalism and reputation." Liang heard it and calculated in his heart, 7 taels, these days plus the sponsorship money, plus the 6 taels and 5 cents sold today and 131 from the caught fish. "I have 9 taels and 2 sous enough." He stood up smiling and said to Li Liba, "Then let's go register together tomorrow." He lightly punched his stomach. "So you are a rich man, then there is no problem." Suddenly a voice that seemed to be there and not there sounded, "Detected, abalone again." Shui frowned suspiciously. At Xiao Mansion. Under the Zhao Mansion, Xingxiang was reporting to someone that Lai Tujiang is currently nowhere to be found, but the clues lead to a kid named Shui. The person was turning his back to him. He ordered, "Such a small matter does not need to bother me every day, solve it yourself." Xingxiang's face suddenly sank. At this time on the river, the wind was rustling, and a boat was floating on the water. Shui was sitting cutting a bamboo shoot. He held a plate of bamboo shoots and poured it into a pot of boiling water, and Bukadong lay not far away. After a while, Shui opened the lid of the pot. Smoke rose, and the aroma spread everywhere. He picked up the bowl and took a sip. Shui praised with satisfaction, "So delicious." Bukadong and Fei sat on both sides looking greedy. Shui didn't spare them either. He picked up the bowl and poured it into the river. "Here, you also drink some." Bukadong jumped down when he saw this. The system notified again. Watery glaze essence plus 24. Shui clenched his fist. As expected of abalone, the refreshing feeling that watery glaze essence brings, even the strength of the body has strengthened a lot. He turned his head to look at the two of them. This time it was really lucky. Fei actually found an abalone. Shui rubbed his chin excitedly. "That's right, it's time to upgrade. Last time Niujiao Bone got 18 plus this time 24. He clicked the button on the board. A powerful force suddenly poured out. He looked at his hand, the power, constantly pouring out. Shui tried punching forward. It would be good if there was someone to practice with now. He used water to lift Fei up. The ability to control water has also increased significantly. Seeing it fall head over heels into the water, Shui said, "I didn't expect that just giving some leftover broth to drink would also reduce the evolution points of Bukadong and Fei." The system announced, "Aquatic Beast Leader, Bukadong Crocodile consumes 779 points of watery glaze essence to evolve into Jiaomu Crocodile, Aquatic Beast Leader. 6 Whisker Mind Fish consumes 779 points of watery glaze essence to evolve into Hotu Mind." Shui looked at the gourd in his hand. "This thing is really magical. Was it created by someone, or was it born like this? What can be seen at present is that one side resembles Enrolling. One side is a huge ape resembling Wu Jiqi. The other side is various human-headed snake gods. And the last side is a mysterious black treasure, the name of a water monster in Chinese mythology." He clenched his fists. "Oh well, it's useless to think too much now." Liang looked at the blue light surrounding his hands. "Tomorrow I can go to the martial arts school. I must get stronger quickly to deal with the Xiao family." Morning. He and Li Liba set off. He excitedly pointed his finger at the sky. "Let's go." Li Liba really couldn't sit still. He hadn't gone far when he turned around and asked the coachman, "Master, how long will it take for us to get there?" After a while, he excitedly grabbed Shui's hand. "Shui, look at that person, making him helpless." Pingyang Town. Arriving at the place, Li Liba smiled and waved goodbye to the driver. The two of them huddled together for lunch. Li Liba hurriedly ate, too hot. He curiously leaned into the stall, so good at kneading. He also watched people perform acrobatics. Li Liba was so scared that his soul flew away. At this time, inside a deserted place, a bearded man opened his mouth. "Is it true that the kid you said will pass by here?" The muscular man said as firm as a nail, "Of course." His face became treacherous. I heard with my own ears that he made an appointment with the Li family kid today to register at the Yang family martial arts school. This kid sold fish yesterday for 6 taels and 5 cents. Not enough, he added to provoke the remaining 2. Do you know how much money that is? You can't even afford to sell your wife. The bald man still couldn't help worrying. 6 taels and 5 cents. Will we not be caught by the authorities? The muscular man waved his index finger, smiling slyly. What the hell do you understand? How wasteful is it to give the martial arts school such a large sum of money? We are helping him manage his money. He leaned against the wall. You must pass this road to get to the martial arts school, and there are not many people passing by now, which is a good opportunity. Not long after, Shui and the others came as he said, Don't talk anymore, they're here. Li Liba punched a few times into the air. Shui, you say how many people I can beat after I become a master, he replied. I don't know. Shui also wondered, but I don't know how many people I can beat with my current strength, if there are a few people. At this time, the bald man jumped out to block their way. Hey! The muscular man also chased out. He grinned. Kid, we meet again. Quickly hand over all the money on you to me. They surrounded Shui and the others. Li Liba laughed. You can choose to hand over the money, or these masters will bury you on the side of the road. He grinned sarcastically. Then I choose to bury you by the side of the road. They immediately rushed over angrily. You want to die. Shui's eyes flashed, and he punched him in the face, causing him to lose a tooth. The remaining man rushed up to attack, shouting loudly, You stinky brat. He also gave him an elbow to the face. Shui grabbed the head of that man. He used strength, throwing him to where the muscular man was. He watched his teammate spurt nose syrup in horror. Before he could recover, he saw another punch coming. Shui's face was ferocious, punching his head into the brick floor. Li Liba, who had been standing outside watching, praised, So fast, the fight ended in 9 minutes. At this time, he stopped. At this time, Shui looked at his hand, the hand that just fed those guys a lesson. The muscular man's head was pressed into the brick. Li Liba opened his mouth and ran over. Shui looked at his fist. Sure enough, the physical qualities had increased significantly. He said to him in surprise, Since when did you become so powerful? What kind of teacher do you still need to worship? Shui scratched his head awkwardly. Maybe I'm a genius. He changed the subject. Let's go. If we don't go, we won't make it to the enrollment. Li Liba narrowed his eyes and looked at him suspiciously. Yang Martial Arts School. Xiang Chansong clasped his hands. I am Xiang Chansong. You 2 junior brothers can call me senior brother, Xiang Chansong. Li Liba and Shui said in unison, Hello senior brother Xiang. He stretched out his hand and led the way. Please follow me. I will take you 2 to try your strength at another training ground, and at the same time explain the specific information about the martial arts school. Xiang Chansong pointed to a person and introduced, This is senior brother who will teach you. He is a direct disciple of Yang Shi. Shui was surprised. It was the martial arts master who bought fish the other day. Senior brother who just turned his head to look at them. He smiled and came over to chat. So it's you, what a coincidence. Xiang Chansong saw this and asked, Senior brother who knows these 2 junior brothers? Senior brother who looked at Shui and recounted, The Nyojiao abalone that I used to upgrade was bought at the stall of this little brother. He pointed to him. Then that's great. You 2 follow senior brother who to practice martial arts. You can rest in the school for 1 night today. Both clasped their hands and bowed. Hello senior brother who. Senior brother who turned around, beckoning them. You 2 junior brothers follow me. Next I have to test your tendons and bones. Shui asked back, Tendons and bones? He smiled and reassured, Don't worry too much. It's just relying on tendons and bones to choose the main cultivation. He heard this and understood. We 2 don't even know what martial arts is. I want to ask senior brother for the specific principle. Senior brother who rubbed his chin as if trying to remember, the principle is, and then he slowly explained, the foundation of martial arts is divided into 4 levels, skin, flesh, bone, blood. Skin level, skin like cowhide, tough and not torn, defense greatly increased. Flesh level, strength greatly increased, enough to overpower a person with 1 hand. Bone level, more freely release strength, to the point of breaking rocks and smashing steels. Blood level, like icing on the cake, increases all strength. Finally, senior brother who summed it up, in fact, the most basic thing is 1 word, practice, of course. No matter how hard ordinary people practice, they only have 1 head. He also added, to break through this limit, there are 2 points that cannot be separated, law and medicine. A book being flipped and a bottle of elixir on the table. Li Liba and Shui said at the same time, law and medicine. Senior brother Hu replied, that's right, law is the method. For example, our Yang family martial arts school is the 3-fist method. With a method, people have a ladder to advance. Shui seemed to be able to imagine how long those ladders were from his words. He was stunned. It must be a kind of cultivation method. What about medicine? Senior brother Hu continued to explain, the method is the ladder to advance. But this ladder is steep and dangerous. You need a handrail to go fast and stand firmly. And this handrail is medicine. He replied, the Nyojiao abalone that you sold is the medicine we need. Shui was secretly happy when he heard this. That's great. He secretly calculated, with the gourd, wouldn't I easily get these things? After finishing speaking, Senior brother Hu gently reassured them, you 2 junior brothers don't need to worry. The road of martial arts is long, you still need to pay attention to what's under your feet first. At this time Shui reached out to him, thank you senior brother, then please help me test my tendons and bones. On the other side, there was a group of people who had been observing them all along. Lu Yankai smiled and asked, is Xiao third young master talking about this person, Lu Yankai? At this time, someone behind him spoke, that's right. As long as you drive these 2 people out of the martial arts school. Zhao Xiuyuan grinned, I can help you with what you said, Zhao Xiuyuan. At the Zhao family mansion, Jingxiang bowed slightly and respectfully reported to Zhao Hongyuan, Master, this Shui is only 15 years old, he is indeed an excellent material for refining pills. His age is also the same as the 3rd young master, and he is also an orphan. He hesitated and made a suggestion, as long as you catch him and refine him into a pill, the body of Zhao Gongzi. Zhao Hongyuan narrowed his eyes and looked at the report, slowly speaking, Yuan has been weak since he was a child, and now finding a fetal replacement of the same age is too difficult. This Shui is indeed the best material. Suddenly Zhao Hongyuan considered for a while and sighed hesitantly, but Zhao Xiuyuan outside had heard everything, but it is said that this kid is planning to join the Yang family martial arts school. With Yang Dongxiong's personality, it will be difficult for us to take action. Jingxiang heard this and helplessly turned around to take his leave, then Master, this subordinate takes his leave. Zhao Xiuyuan saw a piece of paper when he hurried away, inside was Shui's portrait, so he picked it up to see. He stared at the portrait with sinister eyes, his heart filled with calculations, I must eat the immortal pill, escape the mortal world, whoever blocks my way. Zhao Xiuyuan's hand trembled, he crumpled the picture in his palm and muttered, die. Li Liba pointed at Shui and yelled in dissatisfaction with the results of the tendon and bone test. I didn't expect this kid to have the best tendons and bones. And I only have the upper middle level. He shook his head stubbornly and shouted, conspiracy. Shui saw this and helplessly comforted, this is talent. Li Liba saw Shui go ahead without waiting for him, so he called out, wait for me. He didn't stop him but urged, go to the martial arts field quickly. Suddenly, while walking, Li Liba stopped and said in confusion, huh? It turned out that it was the young man who had been waiting for them before. Li Liba spoke to confirm, Chen Jiexiong. Li Liba complained irritably, why are you here? Chen Jiexiong heard this and asked back, why can't I be here? You can come, why can't I come? Li Liba was so provoked that he rushed in as if he was about to punch Chen Jiexiong. You kid, he was not to be outdone and retorted, what, want to fight? Shui tried to mediate the fight in the middle. We are all fellow villagers, forget it, forget it. Shui took the initiative to say hello, hello Jiege. Chen Jiexiong only coldly replied, seeing this, Shui secretly evaluated in his heart, Chen Jiexiong is also a Yixing city person. 2 years older than me, he is a famous fisherman in the town, and has a good relationship with the old owner. Shui asked friendly, Jiege is also here to practice martial arts? Chen Jiexiong heard him ask and clenched his fists, determined to say to himself, that's right, in today's world, who doesn't want to have strong strength, so last time I sold all the fish and gathered enough money I came here. Shui enthusiastically invited him to go together, then let's go to the martial arts field to participate in training, senior brother who has already been taught over there. Li Liba next to him also panicked and echoed, yes, 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 if we don't go, we won't be able to participate anymore. A powerful punch was thrown. The martial arts students in the training area continuously threw punches, shouting in unison. Li Liba at this time was almost exhausted. He gritted his teeth and panted unwillingly. The group of three were now straining to stand between the scorching sun from the sun. Suddenly a hand was raised high and shouted, "Stop!" The martial arts students around were as if freed when Senior Brother Hu announced, "Everyone is now free to rest for a while. In the afternoon it will be Lu Jiaoshi who will guide everyone to continue training." The three tired young men leaned on the tree trunk and panted. Li Liba sighed first. "So tired, I've already started to want to give up." Chen Jiexiong, although tired, still criticized him, "Waste." While the three were resting, a voice spoke, attracting their attention. "I was wondering where the fish smell came from." Lu Yenkai glared at them. "The smell is so disgusting. Can you get away a little?" Jiedingi next to him echoed and slandered. "That's right, were these three people born from the belly of a fish?" Lu Yenkai rubbed his hands, signaling them, "Each person give us 2 tails, we will let you 3 stay here." Li Liba went crazy and wanted to rush over, "You," but Qing Jiexiong was quick to raise his hand to stop him. "Calm down, don't cause trouble for Senior Brother Hu." A Shui sat in the middle silently and helplessly thought, "With my current strength, I can't deal with these 3 people." Lu Yenkai cracked his knuckles, his face threatening. "What, still want to compare a few moves? Come on, I'm about to break through the skin level. I want to try my hand." A Shui sweated. "Skin level, if it's in the middle of the river." Li Liba stood behind, grinding his teeth helplessly. "Damn it." Suddenly a loud and strict voice was issued in time. "Lu Yenkai, what are you 3 doing?" Senior Brother Hu spoke up to protect the 3 people in time. "If there's nothing to do, go over there and stand for half an hour." Lu Yenkai glared at the 3 and snorted coldly. "Consider yourself lucky, kid, but there's no place for cowards here." Senior Brother Hu next to him angrily urged them. "Didn't you hear?" Seeing this, the 3 of them obediently replied, "Coming, Senior Brother Hu." Li Liba went berserk and secretly raised his middle fingers towards them, cursing, "Damn it, you bastards," Qin Jiexiong calmly advised. "Okay, it's useless for you to curse behind their backs." After this scene, a thought flashed in Shui's mind. Still strength, I must seize the time to become stronger. He decided, "Liba, Jiege, I have to go home for a trip." Before the surprised eyes of everyone, he turned and ran away. "Please ask for leave for me this afternoon." Li Liba saw this and was very confused. "What's wrong with the Shui?" Chen Jiexiong next to him was equally puzzled. "This, who knows?" A Shui was running when he heard a voice in his head. "Lotus Field, danger, there are enemies." A Shui ran even faster. "This is what inside helps me become stronger. Nothing can happen." The sky had turned dark. Li Liba and Qin Jiexiong had just stepped out of the martial arts school. Li Liba looked at the starry sky, his heart heavy. "It's been a day and this kid A Shui hasn't returned." Qin Jiexiong had to comfort him. "The emperor is not in a hurry. The eunuch is anxious. Maybe a Shui has his own business." Hearing what he said made Li Liba feel like he was being poked. "Are you provoking me?" Chen Jiexiong retorted. "You kid are really asking for a beating." While the two were arguing, there was a continuous sound of footsteps. A person walked over while clapping his hands and sighed. "It seems that today the old sky opened its eyes, and let me meet you 2 again." Lu Yenkai grinned sinisterly. "Today there will be no Senior Brother Hu to be your backer anymore." Li Liba and Qin Jiexiong saw him, and widened their eyes in horror. Lu Yenkai grinned evilly and issued a provocation. "See if I cripple you too." In the deep night, gentle breezes blew through the reeds. Deep below the bottom of the lake, as if something caused the crab to run away in a hurry, a Shui rode his 2 giant aquatic beasts, speeding like the wind under the water. A Shui's mind was full of thoughts. He muttered currently, "Bukudong and a Fei have almost reached the skin level strength, but they can still make the 2 beasts fear and send a message to me. What exactly is it?" A Shui tightened his spear. He used his hand to separate the layers of seaweed to the side and whispered, "Here it is." A Shui, when he saw the smoke and dust spreading everywhere, and below were trampled lotuses, cursed softly, "Damn it, the one who can create these traces must be very big." A Shui swung his spear and cast a shrinking spell on the 2 aquatic beasts for easy action. He was marveling at the upgrades in his abilities when suddenly a strange black object appeared in front of him. Last time after eating abalone, the fusion degree reached 11.7. The amount of water that can be controlled has reached 70 kilograms. More importantly, the ability to sense in the water has expanded by 1 meter. Now I can grasp information underwater within a range of up to 6 meters. A Shui broke out in a cold sweat and slowly shifted his gaze upwards. Before Ashue's eyes appeared a gruesome water monster that made him panic. What is that? Is that the monster? Ashue asked doubtfully when he was struck by the large and sharp pincers of the monster. Is this a crab? The giant crab now revealed itself completely. Ashue standing with it was like a mosquito standing with an elephant. This one is too big. Ashue calmly analyzed the situation again. With such a large body, could it have become a monster? According to Jiao Shihu, monsters that surpass the skin level in this world are called monsters. With this size, I'm afraid it is a monster. Ashue suddenly turned to look at his two aquatic beasts and a guess sprang to mind. But it shouldn't be too strong, otherwise, Bukudong and Afei would have no chance to escape. Standing in front of the giant crab monster, Ashue suddenly hesitated. Can I do it? There is no plan at all. His hand tightly grasped the spear. Ashue seemed to be overwhelmed by the gap in strength between him and the monster. Becoming stronger is indeed to follow my plan, but this matter. Negative images of the past flashed in Ashue's mind when Lai Tuzhang cursed, You monster. Not only that, he also remembered Lai Tuzhang's voice, just like your father, inconsiderate. Most recently, Lu Yekai loudly scorned the three of them for being weak. There is no place for you three cowards here. Ashue gradually knelt down and said, But surprises and dangers are always linked to my life. At this time, Ashue seemed to have realized the truth of life. Things that can change your life, you must take risks. Things that are of great significance mostly happen by chance. And only unimportant things have complete plans. He tightened his spear, mobilizing the water, preparing to launch an attack. I am not reconciled. What is in my hands, I am not in the habit of giving to others. Ashue lowered his head and coldly said, Lai Tuzhang wanted to take my life, so he died. After a moment he raised his head, in his eyes flashed a determined look, grinning, You want to rob my lotus field? Then let's compare who has the greater ability. Suddenly, Bukudong and Afei turned back into their original forms, rushing like arrows towards the crab monster. Ashue secretly signaled to his two aquatic beasts, and all three resolutely rushed to fight to the death with the monster. Up. In another place, Qingjiexiong was hit by a punch that distorted his face, falling to the ground. Lu Yankai slightly crouched down and ridiculed Qingjiexiong. You are also tough. Where are your fellow villagers? While Lu Yankai was mocking, Qingjiexiong quickly grabbed a brick near him. Without hesitation, Qingjiexiong decisively used the brick to hit Lu Yankai hard on the head, shouting, Go to your grandfather's house. Even though he was hit on the head with a brick, Lu Yankai was still very excited as if nothing had happened. Lu Yankai immediately used his foot to stomp hard on Qingjiexiong's head without mercy, causing his nose to bleed. He glared at the two people's resistance, threatening, I see that you two really want to die today. Lu Yankai turned his head back and coldly ordered his three subordinates, You three guard the gate for me. I want to slowly torture these two. Before Lu Yankai's glare, the three subordinates immediately obediently yes. Li Liba couldn't bear it any longer and struggled, swinging his fist hard and cursing, Damn it. The difference in strength between the two was too great, so Lu Yankai easily caught his fist. He countered by twisting Li Liba's arm back, causing him to scream in pain. Li Liba's suffering made Lu Yankai very happy. Damn it, you are really talkative, say it again. He came forward and grabbed Qingjiexiong's hair, dragging his head up and sighing, And you, those eyes are quite spirited. Lu Yankai's eyes flashed with a sinister look. He threatened him, I will dig out these eyes of yours, so that those two hounds can practice martial arts. Li Liba, who was injured on one side, saw that he was going to gouge out Qingjiexiong's eyes, so he tried to stop him. Damn it, stop it for me. His fingers slowly approached Qingjiexiong's blue pupils. Suddenly Qingjiexiong shouted loudly in pain. The giant claw of the crab monster grabbed a large rock. Then it used its strength to squeeze the rock it was holding tightly, causing fragments of rock to fly everywhere. Ashue had to quickly jump up to avoid the fragments of rock that were shattering. He gritted his teeth and hatefully looked at the crab monster in front. Damn it, nothing can break this crab's armor. Ashue decisively transmitted his voice to his aquatic beast next to him. Bukudong, entangle it. Bukudong obeyed and rushed forward, biting hard on the giant claw of the crab monster. Ashue, in the rear, mobilized the current of water, turning it into a rope to tightly wrap the crab's claws, trying to limit its movements. He concentrated his strength to cast the water flow manipulation. Ashue signaled to Afei to prepare to rush up. Suddenly Ashue painfully coughed. He sighed helplessly in his heart. It's not good, I can't control the spiritual power, resulting in injury. Only a moment later, the crab monster struggled to escape the control of the water ropes. It slowly created a tough black membrane to wrap around it. Fortunately for him, a Fey rushed in time to stab hard into the crab's body, making the protective layer it had just built shatter. Xiao was happy to see this and praised, "A Fey did a great job." At this time, the crab monster was really provoked. It stomped continuously on the bottom of the lake, causing smoke and dust to appear everywhere. While it was stomping, it accidentally destroyed Xiao's lotus pond. Xiao was furious and cursed hatefully, "Damn it, my lotus roots." While Xiao was distracted, the crab monster approached from when it used its giant claw to hit him away. The attack from the crab monster was painful, causing Xiao to vomit blood. The crab monster knocked Xiao away a large distance, but he quickly regained his balance. Xiao held his chest, making a decision in his heart, "Today you must die here." The crab monster was crawling over, slowly approaching Xiao. He stood there quietly observing the crab's body for a while. Suddenly an idea flashed in Xiao's head, "You also have weaknesses." The crab monster once again swung its claws to attack Xiao, but he managed to avoid it in time. Xiao gritted his teeth, trying to find its weakness. He transmitted his voice to the two aquatic beasts who were waiting and gave the order, "Bukadong, a Fei." Immediately, the two aquatic beasts rushed over and bit hard on the two claws of the crab monster, making it immobile. Xiao secretly recalled the actions of the crab monster and analyzed, no matter how much or how little it was injured, it would instinctively protect its belly. Thinking about it, he controlled the flowing water to wrap around his spear, deciding in his heart, "Then if that's the case, the belly is its weakness. I have been thinking about this move for a long time." Compressing the controllable water flowed to the extreme on the wooden spearhead. Xiao raised his hand, holding the spearhead behind him, slowly gaining momentum. "Currently, I can only consume all the spiritual power to barely create 2 rings. This will cause the wooden spearhead to have 2 acceleration stages." The system suddenly appeared at this time to warn him of the consequences. "Spiritual power is too low, which will cause the aquatic beast to backfire. Please stop the action." Xiao didn't care about its words and decided to act, "But I have said it. See who among us two is the most capable." He swung his hand hard, aiming the spear straight at the center of the crab monster's belly. The crab at this time was held tightly by the 2 aquatic beasts and could not move. The spear had reached the belly of the crab. "Lotus root field is mine." Then the spear pierced through the hard crab shell, knocking down the crab monster in one fell swoop. Xiao was overjoyed and couldn't believe the victory. I won. But the battle had consumed too much of Xiao's energy, causing him to quickly collapse and faint. The riverbed was now restored to its original tranquility. After a while, Xiao slowly woke up after the battle. He rubbed his head, slowly sitting up. "Why did I faint like this?" Glancing at his 2 aquatic beasts that had shrunk, Xiao quickly understood. He rubbed Bukadong's head and praised, "Is it you two who rescued me? Thank you." Xiao randomly grabbed a hard object to stand up and sighed, "My head hurts so much. It seems that I need to use this move carefully next time." Suddenly he glanced to the left, stunned by the object he was holding. "This is..." Recognizing that the thing was the crab monster he had defeated a while ago, Xiao was stunned and exclaimed, "This is that crab monster. You two also brought it here." Xiao's eyes lit up, thinking to himself, "How much watery glaze essence can this crab provide me?" Suddenly Bukadong signaled him to come closer to the crab's belly. Xiao came closer and looked more carefully. "So it's also a female." He turned its belly over and saw inside round objects that were emitting light. "What is this? These are crab eggs, turned out. Unfortunately, if I could subdue a crab this big, my strength would..." Suddenly an idea flashed in Xiao's head. "Wait a minute, I can't subdue this big crab, but don't these crab eggs have baby crabs in them?" Xiao propped his chin, looking closely at the crab eggs in front of him, wondering, can the governing blood talisman subdue what's inside this egg? He immediately took a sharp stone and made a small cut. Then Xiao took his hand and grabbed the crab egg, casting the governing blood talisman. Xiao anxiously waited and wondered, successful? A small claw reached out, breaking the outer shell. A small crab with bright eyes hatched from the egg. After a period of preparation, it was time to enjoy the crab meat. Xiao quickly peeled off the crab leg meat. He quickly took a bite of the meat, feeling refreshed to be eating delicious food. During that time, the system continuously popped up notifications about fusion index, fusion degree 10.4%, fusion degree 36.6%. A huge green spirit beast was summoned by Shui. Shui strained himself and shouted loudly, releasing the huge energy. Hearing Shui's painful shout, the nearby aquatic beasts couldn't help but widen their eyes in fear. Shui looked back at his body again and suddenly exclaimed, "The wounds are all healed." The three aquatic beasts blinked their bright eyes, looking at the flowing water wrapped around Shui, secretly admiring. God. Shui gently moved his arms, checking his body again, so the fusion degree can increase by 36.6%, in addition to the physical ability received from eating abalone as usual. There is also the energy supplement from the fusion degree. He tried reaching out to use the newly acquired energy. Moreover, I can also feel the blood chi. Shui clenched his fists, excited about the upgrade in strength. According to Jiaguan Hu, I have approached the skin level, or even stronger. Then Shui gave the remaining crab eggs to Bukadong and Fei to eat, sighing, "Give the remaining crab eggs and meat to you two to eat. Crab meat is difficult to preserve. Crab eggs only give 6 points of watery glaze essence each, too little." He put the newly subdued crab on his shoulder, playing with it. Fist head is ignored, eating the same kind is too cruel, because it is only the size of a fist. The small crab was named Fist Head. Shui recalled the Xiao family's bad intentions towards him, resolving, "As long as I break through the skin level in 1 month, then I can become a student of the martial arts school. At that time the Xiao family will not be able to threaten me." Thinking about it, he smiled secretly. Early plans had sprung up in his mind. Next is to return to the martial arts school to participate in tomorrow morning's training. Back at the martial arts school, Lu Yankai was about to gouge out the second eye of Qin Jiexiong when suddenly a voice spoke, "Stop." Lu Xiaohui in the distance loudly stopped him. "Lu Yankai, you've gone far enough." After witnessing his bullying behavior, he reproached, "The martial arts school has its own rules." Lu Yankai dusted off his clothes and slowly stood up. "So it's Jiaguan Lu. Don't blame me for not reminding you. Dealing with these people is not my idea." His next sentence made Lu Xiaohui stunned. "I represent Xiao, third young master." He turned his head and showed a strange face to him. "I don't know if you dog, listen to the rules of the martial arts school, or the rules of the Xiao family." Lu Yansai's threat made him hesitate. Lu Xiaohui could only clench his fists and endure the humiliation. Lu Yankai was able to continue to ridicule, causing his subordinates to laugh along. "Take a look at this person. It hasn't been a few days since he left the Xiao family, and he's already forgotten who his master is." Lu Xiaohui silently listened to Lu Yansai's increasingly excessive insults. "Before, if the Zhao family hadn't taken in you and your father, would you have today? Is it not good to be a cowardly dog? Do you have the guts to stand up, take it all yourself?" He continued to manipulate his mind. "Have you forgotten? Your father is still in the Zhao family. Nice words, maybe I will help you say good things." Lu Xiaohui collapsed before his reasoning, trembling and uttering word by word, "Sorry," deciding in his heart, "Father, as long as I can protect the family, I don't care how." Lu Yankai and his gang began to laugh, mocking him. "That's right, be a good dog like this. Go Lu sounds so good." While he was laughing, a drop of saliva splashed on his face. Qin Jiexiong, even though he was seriously injured, still boldly sneered at Lu Yankai. He gasped and ridiculed, "Your father just doesn't like your petty tricks. It's really too embarrassing." Lu Yankai gently wiped his cheek, stunned and awed. He turned his attack to Li Liba next to him. Lu Yankai stepped on his injured arm, causing him to scream in pain while mocking, "Hero, continue." He became furious and threatened, "I won't hit you. I will kill your partner." Qin Jiexiong tried to raise his head and yelled, "Damn it, aim at me if you have the guts." Lu Yankai heard this and put his hands on his hips, looking down on him. "You think there is still someone to save you now, Jiaguan Hu is not here. Where do you two have a solid backer?" He was grinning when suddenly one of his companions was knocked away and flew towards him. Lu Yankai was startled and turned around, not understanding what was going on. A figure of a young man was stepping forward, looming in the white smoke. Shui raised his blue eyes, staring hatefully at Lu Yankai. Suddenly he shifted his gaze to his two friends. Qin Jiexiong saw him and was confused, softly calling his name, Shui. Seeing that his two brothers were all injured, Shui was furious. "I want one, just one." He gritted his teeth and decided, "Knock out all of your teeth." On the roof, two figures were watching the fight between Shui and Lu Yansai's gang. Senior brother who turned to his side and apologized guiltily, Master, it's all my fault. I was too happy today to break through the blood level, so I drank too much and came late. Which led to this? Suddenly he shifted his gaze to Lu Xiaohui, sighing. I didn't realize that Lu Xiaohui was such a cold person. The man next to him gently stood up and commented, Lu Xiaohui's personality is a bit cold, but his heart is still good. Today he was stopped again. Yang Dongxiong continued to explain the reason. This is one of the reasons why he can't break through the blood level. A martial artist without courage is like a human without breath. Yang Dongxiong, senior brother who followed the fight and worriedly asked Yang Dongquan for his opinion. He has just entered the martial arts school today, and Lu Yankai is close to the skin level. There is no chance of winning. Yang Dongquan, after assessing the situation, decided not to stop him yet. Wait. He looked at the blood qi surrounding Shui and became interested. The blood qi of this young man is a bit interesting. Lu Yankai spread his arms and challenged, beat me to pieces, can you do it? Shui saw this and just calmly cracked his knuckles. Then I said. Immediately, he rushed towards Lu Yankai as fast as an arrow, shouting loudly, I will beat all of you to pieces. Lu Yankai didn't realize the danger and ordered his subordinates, you are just a lowly fisherman, go for me. Before the two subordinates could do anything, Shui gave them a kick to the face. A fist was swung, but Shui easily tilted his head to avoid it. He retaliated by decisively swinging his hand and punching the face of that subordinate hard. Another reckless man rushed to kick Shui, but he simply leaned to avoid the blow. Eat a kick from me. The man who missed the kick cursed angrily, you stinky brat, don't mess around. He had just uttered one word, open, when Shui gave him a punch in the face. After dealing with the subordinates, Shui coldly glanced at Lu Yankai, it's your turn. Lu Yankai was furious, releasing his blood qi. You think that defeating them can make you equal to me? The spread of blood qi is one of the characteristics of the stage of gradually entering the skin level. Saying that, the two stared at each other without giving way. Lu Yankai rushed to attack Shui's face, but he raised his hand to block it. Then Shui swung his foot and kicked him hard in the stomach to retaliate. Shui gritted his teeth and concentrated his strength to punch him in the cheek. Shui punched him right in the chin, causing Lu Yankai to vomit blood. The force from the punch was so strong that Lu Yankai fell backwards. Shui gasped and said intermittently, You are just like that. As if provoked to madness, Lu Yankai pulled out a sharp knife from his pocket and rushed to attack Shui. You are nothing more than. He stubbornly shouted, just a stinky fisherman. Finishing his words, he decisively stabbed the knife into Shui's stomach, catching him off guard. Lu Yankai frantically stabbed and pulled out the knife repeatedly. Who can give you a backer? You are just an orphan, alone. What are you? Shui braced himself and stretched out his hand to grab the knife in Lu Yankai's hand. Even though he was stabbed, he still tried to say, You, really embarrassing. Finishing his words, he swung his hand, giving him a final punch, you despicable and disgusting person. With just this punch, Shui had knocked down Lu Yankai. Shui was furious, his eyes widened, panting heavily. Lu Yankai only knew to tremble and beg when he was seriously injured. Don't come again, Lu Xiaohui. He desperately begged for help from Lu Xiaohui, who was standing nearby. You don't care, with the qualifications of a Jiaguan, this person is attacking his fellow disciples. Lu Xiaohui hesitated, sweating. Suddenly a dignified voice sounded, enough, a giant sword fell from the sky, dispersing the fighting crowd. Yang Dongxiong and his disciple Hu Xianxing slowly walked over. He coldly read each person's name one by one, Lu Tinkai, Xie Dingi, Yu Weilong, Xiang Quji. Yang Dongxiong sternly announced loudly, You six don't need to come to the martial arts school anymore. He also did not forget to punish Lu Xiaohui. Lu Xiaohui, you get into the detention room for me, wait for me to deal with you. Xiaohui heard this and could only respectfully say, Yes, master. Shui trembled, clutching his stomach, guessing, Master, could it be the legendary Yang Dongxiong, Shi Yang? He raised his head and saw a dignified face full of temperament in front of him. Thinking of the fight just now, Shui was very disappointed in himself. But today I made such a big mistake. The martial arts school probably won't let me stay, damn it. He slowly recalled Lu Yankai's insults. Who can give you a backer? You are just an orphan, alone. Shui sadly thought, sure enough, it's still not good. Suddenly Yang Dongxiong asked, You are named Liang Chu. Shui politely said yes. He smiled gently and made a suggestion. Are you willing to be my direct disciple? Shuya was very surprised to hear what he said and asked again, "What?" Saying that, Yang Dongxiong stretched out his hand in front of him. In a solemn courtyard full of antique charm, Yang Mansion. The servants in the mansion whispered, "I heard that the old master officially accepted his 9th direct disciple today. I heard that he is also a handsome guy." A maid happily smiled and called out, "Young Master Liang." She happily came with 2 other maids with new clothes. "These are the clothes and props that the senior brothers and sisters gave you. We sisters are responsible for helping you put them on." He shyly waved his hands. No need, please ladies wait outside for a while. I will put them on immediately." She gave him the clothes and happily turned and left. He lowered his head and gently breathed a sigh of relief. He smiled slightly. It has been 2 weeks since defeating that Lu Yankai. He remembered the time when he and those 2 were naked in the medicine bucket. The wounds on his body and Qin Jiexiong and Li Liba's bodies were also almost completely healed by Yang Shi. He smiled happily because his long-awaited wishes had come true. Today I don't have to be alone anymore. I have a master. I have senior brothers and sisters. I have a backer. He squinted, thinking it was time to take the next step. "Xiao family, next I will defeat you." A voice rang out in front of the courtyard. In my opinion, junior brother Liang that night was really hanging by a thread. Senior brother who was eagerly telling about Yang Chu's story. You can imagine that a person who has just entered the martial arts school for a day has defeated someone who is about to enter the skin level. Zijujo raised his hand to stop him, looking bored. Okay, little Chi, Ku, I have heard this sentence from you for 2 weeks. Zijujo, 4th senior brother. Xiang Changsong, 8th senior brother, smiled happily. Junior brother Liang can be noticed by master at first sight. He is definitely a dragon and phoenix among people. Chao Rang, 6th senior brother. She said in a teasing tone, 4th senior brother, are you jealous of the junior brother? What did you give this time? Shui Xiaoqin, 5th senior sister. He exuded the demeanor of someone who had money. Looking indifferent, I gave a tungsten arm guard. It's just a small amount of money. You done, 2nd senior brother. Lu Gang, 3rd senior brother. Senior brother who smiled and looked at her, senior sister, don't tease 4th senior brother anymore. It is already very difficult for 4th senior brother to save that much money. He glanced behind him. Junior brother is out. Yang Chu, wearing a martial arts uniform, stepped out with a majestic demeanor. He smiled and called, senior brothers and sisters. He clasped his hands and bowed politely. Liang Chu, thank you senior brothers and sisters for the gifts. Lu Gang patted senior brother Hu on the shoulder and smiled, looking at Yang Chu. I haven't given it yet. He took out a metal block as big as a person's hand. The sunlight refracted, flashing dazzling light. Junior brother, I have prepared a very good thing for you, a high-quality pure hard alloy. Liang Chu looked at the metal block and smiled happily. When I have time, you can come to my shop, say what kind of weapon you need. Thank you 6th senior brother. Xiang Chansong softly urged, okay everyone, the gifts have all been given, go to the hall quickly, don't let master and mistress wait for long, okay. Zhao Mansion. Jingxiang came behind an old man dressed in luxurious clothes, his voice trembling, master. He sweated and stammered, Shui Tu Zhang's Hoda has been found, but he remembered an empty belly, talking disorderly, the thing in his belly is not seen. Master Zhao's face darkened and he turned around, giving him a slap that shook the sky, waste. He angrily shouted loudly, do you know how much trouble it will cause us if this thing is revealed? If you bring the authorities here, then you can just bring your head to compensate. He with his left cheek swollen, said unjustly, Master, it's all because of that Liang Chu, he must have killed Zhui Tuzhang, causing that thing to run out. He angrily waved his sleeves, and Liang Chu too, according to Zhao's words, he must have become Yang Dongxiong's direct disciple. Do you want to try how sharp Yang Dongxiong's sword is? He grabbed Jingxiang's head, forcing him to raise his head, his voice gnashing through his teeth. Listen carefully. I don't care what method you use, quickly find that thing. His face turned pale. Yes. He touched his chin, frowning and thinking. As for Liang Chu. A voice came from inside the room, Liang Chu. Yang Dongxiong and Yang Furen smiled and sat on the Grand Master chairs, a grateful and repaying person, with extraordinary courage, sincere, diligent, and hard-working. Yang Furen, Su Shi, I want to accept you as a disciple, are you willing? He knelt on one knee on the ground, his face reverent, disciple is willing. Senior brother Hu and Xiang Chansong smiled and listened to the master's teachings. Entering my sect, you must maintain humility, be modest and diligent, respect your teacher and value the Tao. And be filial to your family. Shui Xiaoqin and Lu Gang smiled and listened. You must not slaughter fellow disciples, you must not be disobedient and unfilial, you must not do evil, and you must not bully the weak. Do you remember? He closed his eyes, his face serious. Disciple Liang Chu understands. Yang Dongxiang smiled with satisfaction. Good, after drinking tea, you are my 9th direct disciple, Yang Dongxiang. From now on no one can bully you, no one can insult you. Master is your backer, do you understand? He excitedly clasped his hands. Disciple Liang Chu understands. The sunset shone on the martial arts school, and the panting of the martial artists in the school could be heard. Everyone diligently practiced their fists, and sweat poured down like a shower. A voice rang out, and the group huffed and puffed, rushing into the shade of the trees, gasping for breath in bursts. Rest for half an hour. They enviously discussed, do you know, I heard that guy Liang Chu has become a direct disciple of Yang Shi. That's right. This is indeed a life change for a penniless poor man. They laughed heartily, not realizing that Zhao Shiyuan was walking over. The most relieved was the group of Lu Yekai who were kicked straight out of the martial arts school. And what else? I heard that there are other masterminds behind them. He gritted his teeth angrily. Damn it, Liang Chu, damn Liang Chu, Liang Chu. In a room, senior brother Hu and Liang Chu were discussing martial arts. Junior brother Liang, do you know what the 4 levels and 7 paths are? I only know that the skin, flesh, bone, and blood are the first 4 levels, and the 7 paths behind are not very clear. Senior brother Hu seriously explained, the so-called 7 paths are Benma, Langyan, Shuhu, Chanzhang, Tianlong, Ronglu, and Huahong. Benma realm, at the peak, you can pull and hold dozens of galloping horses without moving. Langyan realm, blood qi is like wolf smoke, rising a foot high, like a heavenly being. When erupting, strength will make people feel like they are being besieged by a pack of wolves. The momentum is amazing. Shuhu realm, blood qi rolling like a rising tide. When erupting, ordinary people will be frightened like a rabbit facing a fierce tiger, their liver and gallbladder will shatter. Chanzhang realm, every move shakes the earth, you can collapse mountains and block rivers. When going into battle, you can call yourself a great general. Yaolong realm, humans are like heavenly dragons. You can escape the constraints of the earth. One step jumps 3,000 feet, flying straight into the clouds. You are the martial saint of a country. He touched his chin, frowning and thinking. As for Ronglu and Huahong, I don't know much. I only heard that the experts who have reached this realm have reached the point where their feathers are fully grown, and they can ascend. He looked puzzled. Is the martial arts in this world so powerful? If I reach the point of ascension, could I return to my old world? He curiously looked at senior brother Hu. I don't know which realm master has reached. He propped himself up, sitting up, his tone mysterious. Little junior brother, do you know how many martial arts schools there are in Pingyang town? He doubtfully raised his hand to count. Probably 3 schools. Senior brother Hu turned his back to him and said calmly, the other 2 schools can stay in Pingyang town because they are only enough to open a school and stay here. And Shifu Yang is in Pingyang town because this is his hometown. He tilted his head to look at him, his face serious. Our martial arts school has always been ranked first for many years, because Shi Yang is the only martial artist in Pingyang town who has reached the realm of Shuhu. He was stunned, his face dazed. Shuhu, with system support, I can quickly enter that realm. Senior brother Hu comforted him. Today's lesson ends here. Little junior brother does not need to be too anxious about the issue of realm. Only by advancing step by step can you progress. He clasped his hands. Thank you, senior brother. His face was excited. In this way, the pressure from the Xiao family will be reduced. The next step is to quickly catch abalone, break through the skin level to become a real martial artist. The sun was shining lightly, and he stood on a boat in the middle of the river. He pulled up the wooden board, looking at the boat full of fresh fish, smiling brightly. Bukadong and them can help catch fish. The boat is not enough to hold them anymore. Maybe I should consider changing to a bigger boat. He stood up, touching his chin, looking around. It's a pity that I didn't meet abalone. I don't know when I can catch it. He looked at the notification and pondered. The fusion degree has reached 37%. If I can catch it, there may be a chance to break through the skin level. A feather fell beside him, startling him. The boat swayed, and the river suddenly rippled violently. The strong waves splashed water high, splashing on him. What's going on? He saw something, his expression terrified. What is this? A huge tornado appeared in front of him. The whirlwind followed the river water to form a waterspout, and blue light radiated from the waterspout, illuminating the figures of a giant bird and a giant toad. The toad's tongue was tightly wrapped around the firebird's leg. This is a toad biting a giant bird? The toad was flung out, falling into the water with a splash. Its weight caused the river to appear in waves higher than the human head, rushing towards Liang Chu. He looked at this scene in a daze. It's not good. The waves rushed down, submerging Liang Chu and his boat. The fish on the boat also flew out. My fish. The boat was tossed and turned, breaking into small pieces. Liang Chu emerged from the water. The fire bird opened its mouth and let out a piercing cry. Red sound waves rushed towards him. Danger, coming. This is a spirit. He sank into the water unconscious. He lay on the ground, slowly opening his eyes. A picture of a crab appeared before his eyes. He struggled to get up, looking at Quan Tu and Bukudong. I just fainted, you rescued me again. He touched his head and thought, was it the cry of the bird that made me dizzy? He looked at the huge tornado in front of him, dark clouds covering the sky, lightning flickering in the tornado, emitting dazzling light. The strength of this demon is really terrible. Then isn't the monster that can catch it even more terrifying? He lay down on the grass, looking frustrated. This time I wasted my time. The boat is broken, the fish are gone, and the plan to break through the skin level has to be postponed. Bukudong crawled over, pushing his hand. He sat up, looking at it doubtfully. What's wrong, Bukudong? It opened its mouth, and a fish with a pink body appeared. This is red blood abalone. I can try to break through the skin level. Blood chi manifests the strength of a martial artist's body. But the priceless thing is not strong because the blood chi is full, but because the physical quality is strong enough to condense the full blood chi. Blood chi is not the cause of strength, but the result of strength. This result can promote the cause. The two sides circulate, life after life. Light shone from the window of an old house. Liang Chu raised his hand, lighting a stick of incense in the incense burner. He sat in front of a pot of steaming smoke, sweating all over. The white smoke flew across his face. He remembered the word senior brother who had said and the box he had given, Ning Xinxiang, which can easily help martial artists break through the level. His whole body emitted golden light, breaking through the skin level. The key to entering a martial artist is to temper the blood chi in the chest. He picked up a piece of fish and brought it to his mouth. Each time after tempering the blood chi, it can be replenished in time from the fish. He frowned and gritted his teeth, enduring. This is already the 38th time, just a little bit more. He remembered what senior brother who had said, the key to breaking through the skin level is to use blood chi and internal energy to stimulate the fascia and skin of the whole body. To exert the effect of skin training. A red gas appeared in front of his chest. Blood chi is the gas that appears in the chest when you practice boxing. It is the essence of the human body, it is the root of life. White smoke began to come out of his mouth. He gritted his teeth. When you can feel a warm gas invading from the chest, combining with the blood chi in the chest. This gas flows to the bones of the limbs, and finally to the muscle fascia and skin, turning into heat. Golden light radiated throughout his body. This is skin training. The golden heart beat wildly. He opened his mouth and breathed out a breath. This is already the 40th time, but unfortunately there is still a little bit more. He looked at the notification in doubt. 49% already. But the skin level is still missing a little bit. The fusion degree is 49%. He tried to move his body, thinking, but I have a premonition that at 50%, there will be a big change. He touched the back of his head, looking at the empty pot. The fish meat is also gone. And now the effect of lotus root on me is extremely small. It seems I have to go catch an abalone. He looked at the morning sun shining in from the window. It's already dawn. Two men with happy faces stood in front of his house. A shui, seeing that you came home yesterday, uncle specially came to find you to ask about this. Qin Chen. Qin Jiaxiong's father, Li Dakong, Li Liba's father. He smiled, looking at them. Uncle Li, what's the matter? Tell me, aren't these Li Liba and Qin Jiaxiong's fathers? Why are they here? They were always smiling, but their eyes could not help but show worry. There is nothing big. I just want to ask you, why hasn't my son come home these days? Is he still at the martial arts school, or is he wandering around? That's right, my son hasn't come home either, so I specially came here to ask. He scratched his head, smiling at them. I came home late yesterday. I forgot to tell Uncle Lee and Uncle Chen. The three of us performed well, so we were valued by the martial artists. And we were given a room in the house to live in, so we haven't come home yet, focusing on martial arts. He smiled, remembering the scene of the two still lying in bed. In fact, their injuries have not healed, so they dare not go home. The two laughed heartily. As expected of my son, our Yixing town also has some martial artists. From a young age I have watched a Shui and the two kids of ours grow up together. I knew that these three kids would definitely have a bright future. The two looked at him seriously. Oh right, a Shui. The reason why Uncle came this time is to remind you, our hometown wants to organize a sacrifice to the river god. His expression was surprised. Looking at the two, river god sacrifice, in his memory, there's indeed this custom, but wasn't it organized 3 months ago? The two said worriedly, that's right, yesterday, the river god appeared, we must sacrifice, that's right, the river god jumped out of the river, caught a flaming bird, breaking the sky. He remembered the blue toad yesterday, they meant that it was the toad. The sun gradually rose, and his voice rang out, Uncle Lee, I know, I will pay the participation fee at that time, a Shui don't forget. A lotus pond with clear water appeared inside a hidden cave, in the Manhwa cave. Suddenly water shot high from the surface of the lake as if something had rushed out. The water fell back on the surface of the lake, revealing Liang Chu's figure. Countless streams of water rushed from under the lake to him. He somersaulted 360 degrees, escaping the move. He let himself fall onto the surface of the lake, slowly sinking into the water. Bukudong opened its huge mouth, biting. He tilted his body, dodging. He looked at the stream of blue light in his hand, thinking, the strength of the water flow that can be controlled is about 300 kilograms. It can be compressed and erupted in 10 liters of water. That is, 1 liter of water corresponds to a force of 30 kilograms. Holding the wooden stick, he waved his hand. A stream of blue light rushed towards Bukudong and Afei. The stream of light approached the two monsters, gradually dissipating and disappearing. He looked at the two monsters that had become smaller like deflated balloons. His ability in the water has now surpassed the skin level. Perhaps he can easily defeat for Lu Yankai. He looked at the notification that appeared, Dingzhu, Liang Chu, refining the marsh spirit, water monkey, by, fusion degree 49%, watery glaze essence, 0, river's favor. 0, control of aquatic beasts, Taihua crocodile, Lu Xionianyu, Sure Ao Xie, evaluation, the water monkey marsh spirit originated from Huaiwa Jiju, incompletely awakened. A weak and insignificant character. He looked at the wooden stick in his hand, his face with a little regret. About this water ninja move, it would be great if there was a handy weapon. He remembered all kinds of weapons that third senior brother had talked about. I heard third senior brother said that there are weapons in this world called Lin Wu, which can heal and upgrade themselves. The divine weapons emitted a dazzling light, but weapons at this level usually have to be combined with treasures, heaven and earth to create the core. He clenched the wooden stick and sighed. I don't know when I will get a weapon like this. He suspiciously glanced his eyes, as if discovering something. He looked at a face swimming in one direction, his face puzzled. What happened? The two looked at the pile of stones in front of them in surprise. Is it under this pile of rubble? A colorful feather emitted a halo, quietly lying there. A feather, this must have fallen from that giant bird, it looks very special. He remembered the scene of seeing the feather fall yesterday. This must be the red feather from yesterday. He doubtfully pondered, looking at this shape, it looks very valuable, could it be a heavenly treasure? He picked it up, thinking, I just have to go to 6th senior brother Lu Gang's blacksmith shop later to confirm the weapon, and then ask him at that time. The ancient houses were lined up in a city, Pingyang County. He was walking on the wide street. He looked around doubtfully. I remember that the blacksmith shop of third senior brother is. He looked doubtfully at the black smoke rising in the distance. What is that? Looking at the scope, it is close to Pingyang County. I will ask senior brother conveniently. He came to a shop with a sign, Lu's blacksmith shop. A hammer slammed down on a piece of metal that had been fired red. Lu Gang wiped the sweat on his chin, looking at him. Is little junior brother here? He smiled, handing him a yellow cloth bag. 6th senior brother, this morning I went fishing and caught something difficult to deal with, so I specially came to ask you. Looking at the feather, Lu Gang cried out excitedly, Scarlet Fire Dance. Lu Gang looked at it and sighed softly, this thing is a good thing. He glanced at him doubtfully. It really is a good thing. Sixth senior brother knows. He smiled at him. Junior brother Liang, do you know where this crimson feather comes from? He began to explain. This feather comes from a monster called Scarlet Fire Bird. Whenever it encounters a life-threatening danger, it will pour the essence of its entire life into a part of its feathers, scattering in all directions, using this to escape. Among those feathers, there will be one that contains the most essence of life, called Scarlet Fire Golden Feather. It will use this feather to complete the process of rebirth, like a lizard breaking its tail, but instead of just losing its tail, it sacrifices its entire body. He shouted, his face startled. So powerful, then what I have here is the golden feather. He smiled. Of course not the golden feather, otherwise the two of us would have no way to get close. He looked at the feather. I advise you to forge it into a weapon with spirituality, instead of just absorbing energy. Have you decided what weapon you will choose? He smiled, his eyes confident. I have thought it over. He remembered the battle between him and the giant crab. Based on the confrontation with Xiao before, long-handled weapons are more suitable underwater and can be combined with self-created skills. His expression serious. I want a long spear. Lu Gang looked at him in surprise. Long spear, quite rare in the martial arts school. Although long weapons have an advantage in range, they are also more difficult to control. He looked at the feather, his eyes firm. I have decided. Please, senior brother, put this feather into the weapon. I want a weapon with spirituality. He smiled happily. Okay, when it's done, I will have someone call you to take it. He clasped his hands. Thank you, senior brother. He pointed to the black smoke rising high and asked doubtfully, by the way, sixth senior brother, what is the thick fog outside? Lu Gang slapped the table, making a loud noise. He gritted his teeth. His face darkened. That place. He frowned, looking worried. That is Manhwa Temple. There was a big fire this morning. He remembered the scene of the tower burning fiercely, and in this fire, something that should not have appeared. He widened his eyes, his voice hoarse. Something that should not have appeared? A humanoid monster with green eyes, sharp teeth, and claws crawled out of the fire, with countless corpses that had not yet burned. It is a mountain ghost. A voice rang out. You said they scold you. What? They said we are. Countless corpses lay motionless on the ground. A person stood there, his body thin, but the belly was terrifyingly large, with a red talisman painted on it, Dan Kai. A voice rang out, and that person screamed in pain, Dan Chi. A man with a cold face held a sharp knife, all because of Lamu. Jiming widened his eyes, sweat fell like rain, his voice stuttering, believer, believer. The mountain ghost lay on the rafters, looking at the boy with a craving gaze. The Manhwa Temple appeared something that should not have appeared. 4 people stood in front of the egg that was shaking in bursts. That, could it be a monster, with strength comparable to a war horse? The monster grabbed the police officer, opening its mouth to bite and tear. Lu Tianxia, save me. The morning sun shone on Manhwa Temple. The sound of footsteps rang in the dense forest. A girl's feet were running in a hurry. She gasped as she ran. She supported her large belly, like a woman about to give birth, with a frightened expression. She saw a monk sweeping in front of the temple gate. Save me, save me. The voice rang out, attracting Jiming's attention. Save me. Her pupils shone red. She gasped, little master, save. She fell to the ground, her eyes blurred, closing. Believer. The last image she saw was Jiming rushing over in a hurry. Female believer. She was taken to the meditation room. Jiming and the abbot sat beside her. Believer, female believer. She vaguely opened her eyes. Jiming's voice rang out. Master, the female believer has woken up. The abbot smiled kindly. Amitabha, female believer, you have finally woken up. She raised her hand to rub her head, looking tired. Abbot, I am. Where am I? The abbot slowly said. This place is Manhwa Temple. What happened to the believer? Her face was fearful. This little girl was originally from Huazhou County. 3 months ago I came to visit relatives in Pingyang County, but I didn't expect. She remembered a group of strange people covered from head to toe, encountering a group of mysterious bandits. She was blindfolded and taken away, then blindfolded and dragged to a mysterious place. When she arrived, they roughly removed the blindfold. She saw countless corpses on the ground and the weird amulets on their huge bellies. That place was really hell. The people in that place were tortured into evil spirits. The abbot sweated, his face tense. Did they tie you up to get money? She hugged her head, her face terrifying, her voice stammering. No, they said. A voice rang out as if from the 9th hell. We are refining pills, Dantai. A voice rang out, and the huge belly moved violently. The person screamed, Danchi. That group of people stood with their hands clasped as if worshipping Buddha, muttering something. The man with a blank face pulled out a sharp knife. He raised the knife, then quickly lowered it. The man with the big belly screamed miserably. Fresh blood poured out. The color flowed into a stream. Something round and bright red appeared. The man smiled with satisfaction, raising his two blood-soaked hands high. The man's belly was cut open. The other people looked at the thing shining in his hand with blank faces. A Xiao looked at this scene in doubt. It's really magical, Lin Gu. What are these bellies anyway? A Xiao. Lan Guiyong snorted, looking proud. This is the fetal pill, made by the upper envoy, Lan Guiyong. He frowned, explaining, they will be forced to drink water stewed from the meat of mountain ghosts. Regardless of male or female, their bellies will swell up, carrying a meatball. He looked at the thin corpses on the ground. After 3 months these meatballs will form a fetal ring. Many rings are used to refine a fetal pill. I heard that eating it can make you an immortal. A Xiao asked doubtfully, formed in 3 months, so what if it is more than 3 months? He explained, if it is not taken out after 3 months, it will hatch. A Xiao looked nervous, asking, hatch what? He glanced at him, looking terrified. You wouldn't want to know. At Fahua Temple, a voice rang out, Ximing, your senior brother has gone to the city to report to the authorities. You go and bring vegetarian food to the female believer. Ximing, carrying a bowl of steaming food, entered the meditation room. Yes, master. The boy entered, politely asking, female believer, are you here? He looked at the bed curtain. Is she asleep? He was startled, widening his eyes. He stepped on a red liquid on the ground. What is this? He looked in one direction, petrified. 2 feet as white as a corpse and a pool of bright red blood on the floor were illuminated by the light. The boy fearfully glanced upwards. This was. The boy's face turned pale, and he stammered, donor. The boy looked at the bed, trembling. That on the bed is. The woman's eyes were wide with fear, her face full of fresh blood as she lay on the bed. Ximing cried out and dropped the food and soup to the ground. Some kind of liquid dripped onto the boy's head. He started and looked up. The boy was stunned, his whole body trembling. A Shan Gui was lying on the roof beam, with a human intestine wrapped around its neck, looking at the boy with greedy eyes. A drop of bright red blood fell. A monk, 2 Yamen runners, and a man were walking down the road. One of the Yamen runners happily looked at the man behind him. Thank you so much, young Master Lu, for taking the initiative to help us come here to investigate. Otherwise, we would have had to trouble the old master to find someone. Lu Xiaohui calmly replied, Wang Bukuai, no need to be so polite. This is what martial artists from martial halls should do. Jing Xiang seriously instructed, this time at Fehua Temple, you must help Zhao Fu conceal some of the corpses in the temple and also bring that thing inside out. He looked at him suspiciously. What thing? He mysteriously replied, you don't need to know about that. When you see it, you will naturally understand what it is. The little monk stopped and announced, 3 officials, it's just ahead. The little monk looked at the gloomy temple. This is Fehua Temple where this poor monk resides. The little monk stepped forward and raised his hand to open the temple door. The 3 men looked inside with horrified expressions. Inside the temple, corpses were lying everywhere. What happened? The little monk cried out in shock, Master. He fearfully rushed inside. Master, I'm here to save you. The Yamen runner shouted in fear, don't run around. The remaining Yamen runner instructed, Xiao Luo, follow that monk. The 2 of us will observe here first. Lu Xiaohui looked at the severed corpses with suspicion. Most of these corpses have bite marks. They look like they were caused by a large tiger. But is there such a large tiger? Moreover, there isn't a single complete corpse at the scene. He thought angrily, could it be, damn it? Zhengxiang, is that damn thing he was talking about some of these corpses? A voice rang out, and he turned his head in surprise. These bloodstains. The 2 men observed the bloodstains on the ground. The bloodstains seemed to extend this way, as if a body was dragged away. The bloodstains dragged to the foot of a pagoda. The monk and Yamen runner from before were also there. The blood trail stops here. Xiao Luo and that monk are also here. The 2 men stepped in and saw the little monk kneeling on the ground in fear. The 2 men were horrified by the scene before them. The Yamen runner turned pale and said in a trembling voice, damn it! What kind of monsters are these? What on earth happened here? Lu Xiaohui thought in a panic. Is this what Jingxiang told me to bring out? Damn it! Before them was a giant egg, with countless monks' corpses lying at its feet. The Yamen runner said in fear, these corpses, so they were all here. The little monk, with a green face, put his palms together and chanted Buddhist scriptures, Namo Amidba, Namo Amidba. The door behind them suddenly closed. The Yamen runner turned his head in a panic and shouted, Who's there? The Yamen runner hurriedly pounded on the door and shouted angrily, Damn it, who's outside? Are you trying to rebel? Lu Xiaohui said anxiously, The door isn't important now. It's about to hatch. The Yamen runner asked anxiously, Young Master Lu, what is this? He looked at the egg that was moving and stammered, This is a Shan Gui egg, a characteristic method of the Guimu sect. The Yamen runner realized in shock, the Guimu sect, those remnants of the previous dynasty? He frowned, his face full of fear. Once the Shan Gui hatches, and absorbs enough blood and flesh, it will enter the second stage. Now that the nest has been built, it is about to evolve into the second stage. He said fearfully, That is a monster with the strength equivalent to a stampede of horses. The Yamen runner was stunned. A stampede of horses? Something crawled out from inside the egg. A long, spindly leg fell to the ground. The Shan Gui broke out of the egg, and a panicked voice rang out, It's hatched. Second stage Shan Gui. The little monk was still trembling and chanting Buddhist scriptures, Namo Amidba, Namo Amidba. It rushed forward, so fast that its figure couldn't be seen. It bit the little monk's neck, and fresh blood splattered everywhere. The Yamen runner cried out in horror, Little monk! He drew his blade and rushed forward. The remaining Yamen runner hurriedly stopped him, Wait! The Shan Gui released the little monk, its eyes glowing as it looked at him. Its hand grabbed his face and slammed him hard onto the ground. He was sent flying, dropping his blade, and fresh blood gushed from his mouth. The Shan Gui grabbed the face of the remaining Yamen runner. He struggled violently, Save me, young Master Lu, save me. His face showed hesitation, I have to retreat. My strength might be enough to break through the door, but if this monster gets out. The Shan Gui looked at him, opening its sharp mouth and roaring loudly. He clenched his hand, hesitating, No, survival is the most important thing. I have always lived like this, always. He remembered the scene of him watching Luo Yankai bully Qing Jiexiong. Just close my eyes, just don't see it, as long as I'm safe. He remembered the dilapidated house, as long as Dad is still well. He watched as the Shan Gui bit the Yamen runner to death, but if I do that, it would be too heartless. The Yamen runner's miserable voice seemed to echo in his ears, Young Master Lu, save me. He drew his blade. The Shan Gui was startled and looked at him. He slashed out with his blade. The Shan Gui retreated. He frowned, his face helpless. It seems I have to test how strong a stampede of horses really is today. A small hand held up a wooden sword, his tone heroic. In the future, I will definitely become a great hero like Yang Dongxiong, shaking all directions. The girl beside him smiled, her face full of admiration. Lu Ji is so amazing. The young Lu Xiaohui smiled confidently, this time, following Dad into the city. I heard that I will be working in the Zhao family's mansion. This is my chance. The boy thought excitedly, I must join Yang Leoi's martial hall, then be valued by Zhao Leoi, and become a famous hero in one area. The girl smiled encouragingly, Lu Ji, you will definitely be able to do it. Lu Xiaohui, with his patched clothes, was pushed to the ground by Zhao Xiuyuan. He waved his hand sarcastically, You want to enter the martial hall? What a joke! Zhao Xiuyuan. He laughed contemptuously, A useless person like you without a mother, just stick with your sick old man and rot in your corner. Constant coughing echoed in the dilapidated house. Lu Xiaohui, with a bruised face, was having his face rolled with boiled eggs by his father. He looked at the boy tiredly. Did you clash with Zhao Sanshao again? The boy looked at him aggrievedly. Dad, they bullied me first. His hand gently rubbed, his voice intermittent with constant coughs. Less talking, go out, don't be impatient, be respectful and humble, learn with humility. The boy tilted his head to one side, his face sad. I know, Dad. He smiled and gently rubbed the boy's head, but, no matter what, you must become the person you recognize yourself to be. He unconsciously remembered Yang Dongxiong. If it were master, what would he do? Those who enter my school must have a humble heart, great ambitions but know how to endure. Looking at the Shan Gui before him, he clenched the blade, Don't be arrogant, look down on others, or be complacent with your talent. He jumped forward. As he advanced towards the Shan Gui, Yang Dongxiong's teachings appeared in his mind: be filial at home, be harmonious outside, do not harm fellow disciples. With an unfilial nature, you must never act wrongly. He swung the blade, the monster bent over to dodge. Those who enter my school must eliminate evil and uphold justice. He glanced at it, baring its sharp teeth. He twisted his waist to the left, preparing to slash back. Do not do anything recklessly, or bully the weak. The candles fell, and the book, soaked by some liquid, began to burn. The storyteller slapped the table and sat up, shouting, the old master of the martial hall, his eyes wide with anger, his feet stomping on the ground, a long blade at his waist. The young Lu Xiaohui. He raised his blade to block the Shan Gui's hand. Its long and sharp claws scratched his face, causing fresh blood to flow down his face. The two engaged in close combat, the blade sometimes slashing, sometimes chopping, sometimes stabbing, sometimes spinning, the blade flashing a dark green, reflecting a brilliant golden color. He swung the blade continuously, pushing it back, the blade light like the evening clouds tearing through the dark clouds at the horizon, beating the enemy back repeatedly. He gently rubbed his fingers together, excitedly narrating, at this time, sand and dust swirled, the sky and earth darkened, Yanlei fought alone against the 4 great star monsters. Heavily wounded. The Shan Gui bit off his hand. The blade fell to the ground. He used his remaining hand to grab it. His face pained, he jumped over its head. Blood spurted from the severed arm like a fountain. The storyteller slammed a piece of wood on the table, making a loud sound. If you want to know what happens next, please listen to the next installment. He crouched down, hand holding the blade that was pinned into something in the middle of the sea of fire, hoarsely, sorry, I can't let this monster out. There's no way to save you anymore. He looked at the monster trembling under the blade. I can only injure it to this extent. Luckily, it's not a real stampede of horses. The Yamen runner tried to raise his head to look at Lu Xiaohui and comforted, it's okay, young Master Lu, we're doing good deeds. You are a hero. He was startled and said, a hero? He remembered Liang Chu standing tall among the battered bullies. There are still many people in this world who are more like heroes than I am. He remembered the scene of him bowing and cowering before Zhao Shuyuan, and he gave a wanton smile, pointing at the 2 children cowering against the wall in fear. Go break their teeth for me, and from now on, follow me. He smiled evilly, if you don't go, then you'll be the one whose teeth get broken. A figure stood in front of the 2 poor children. The young Lu Xiaohui looked hesitant. The boy lowered his head, his face without light. Sorry. The boy clenched his fist, his hand trembling. I must do it. I must stand out. I must become someone who stands above all others. The sunlight shone on the ancient temple, Fa Temple. Countless Yamen runners stood in front of the pagoda, talking about the fierce battle that happened last night. A Yamen runner standing inside the pagoda called out loudly, found them, they're here. They looked suspiciously at the charred corpse near the door. What did they go through? The corpses of Lu Xiaohui and the Shan Gui were also charred. Who is that person wearing the blade? A golden token lay beside the corpse. A Yamen runner bent down and picked it up. The token had 1 character written on it, Lu. Lu Xiaohui held a steaming bun for you. The 2 children stammered in fear, why are you helping us? Lu Xiaohui bared his teeth, missing 2 front teeth, and laughed, I am a hero, how can I bully the weak? An angry voice rang out, Zhao Fu, you are such an idiot. Zhao Leia angrily kicked Xingxiang, you are such a stupid slave, letting you take charge. He pointed at him and angrily scolded, once the Fa Temple affair is exposed, do you know how much trouble it will cause for the High Envoy? Xingxiang knelt on the ground, sweat pouring down like rain, and said helplessly, Lao Yi, the Fa Temple affair was also a last resort. He recounted with a fearful expression that day, after discovering that the woman had escaped, we immediately chased after her. But who would have thought that slut would run into the temple? He remembered the scene of corpses piled up, his voice stammering, wait until we chased after her, then that place was, blood had flowed into a river. He said that he had ordered Lu Xiaohui. I could only immediately have Lu Xiaohui take the initiative to go to the Yamen, to help us hold back the Shan Gui that had just hatched. That night, they had hidden outside the Sutra Pavilion, waiting for him to enter the Sutra Pavilion. They immediately closed the door and used a large piece of wood to block the door. We immediately sneaked up and locked the door tightly. They stood there watching the flames rise high, and then set fire to burn it down, wanting to destroy the corpses to silence them. Xiao angrily pinched Jingxiang's ear. You fool, what's the use of setting a fire? Even burning to ashes would take 3 days and 3 nights. Do you have that much time? A voice rang out. Enough. A hand with long, sharp claws grasped the armrest of the chair and slowly stood up. This matter, you fools are all responsible. He walked past the 2 men and said calmly, because you didn't keep an eye on that woman, causing heavy losses to the sect. A cold voice rang out, causing one of the sect members to sweat in fear. To the Supreme Old Mother, you are being disrespectful. He raised his hand. Disrespect will be punished. His hand squeezed his head hard. He was terrified and trembled. Fresh blood splattered on the high end of his face. He glanced at Xiao Lei. This is also the will of the Supreme Old Mother. His corpse fell on the floor, fresh blood splashing everywhere. Xiao Lei and Jingxiang cried out in fear. He wiped his hand, which was stained with fresh blood, and said in a threatening tone, Xiao Lei, you have always made great contributions to this sect, the Supreme Old Mother will bless you. He glanced coldly at Xiao Lei. But Xiao Lei, don't forget that we are on the same boat. He stammered in fear. That, High Envoy, rest assured, I will take care of this. He looked at Jingxiang, a murderous intent flashing in his eyes, threatening. As for you, Steward Jing, you really don't need the son you've been hiding anymore? Jingxiang hurriedly knelt down, trembling. High Envoy, rest assured, this will absolutely not happen again. He laughed, his tone becoming friendly like an old acquaintance. I've troubled great Lao Yi Zhao and Steward Jing. The 2 men watched him leave the Zhao mansion. Xiao Lei slumped into a chair and sighed. Jingxiang looked at the man lying dead on the floor. Lao Yi, this person is threatening us on the surface. Xiao Lei gnashed his teeth and said, do I have a choice? If it weren't for my family's business, I would never have invited that old immortal. He remembered the scene of Jingxiang killing the entire temple. Luckily you were smart, going with the flow, letting the shan gui in that woman's belly grow smoothly. And also killing the entire temple to feed it. Otherwise, such an opportunity would have been hard to find. He frowned, his face annoyed. Today, while carrying out the plan smoothly, we must find a way to escape. The people from the imperial court have made a move. He curled his mustache and laughed. Once the Fa Hua temple affair is settled, we will escape to Huangzhou. I also have businesses there, and can still live a carefree life as usual. He smiled evilly. Zhao's Taizhou Dan can also continue to be refined, and there's no Yang Dongxiong there to meddle. His calculating voice echoed in the still night. If we don't want to be liquidated by the Great Shun, the safest way is to minimize the losses. The entrance to Xing village. He carried his bag and walked while pondering. I didn't expect Lu Xiaohui to fall into such a situation. He remembered the scene of Luo Yankai bullying his brothers. According to Li Ba, he stood up and tried to uphold justice that day. He really was a good person. Stop. He wondered, but why did he appear at Fa Hua Temple? According to what 6th senior brother said, the martial hall didn't receive help from the yamen at first. He closed his eyes, his face dejected. Shan Gui, this world is really hard to live in. I hope these monsters all die outside. A voice rang out, startling him. Isn't that a Shui? Chen Qingjiang, carrying 2 baskets of fish, hurried over. A Shui, you've returned. Chen Qingjiang, is that Uncle Chen? What happened? He looked at him, his face hurried. Hurry home and take a look, there are quite a few people gathered at the door. A centipede was crawling on a rock not far away. An arm full of veins, with bright red claws, grabbed the centipede, become an immortal. It put the centipede in its mouth, its face exactly like the Shan Gui, and growled, Liang Chu, Liang Chu. In front of a dilapidated house, a philosophical voice rang out. People often say that the past of a great man is always full of suffering and hardship. The more suffering, the greater miserable. Beside the house were a pile of firewood and a small water vat. Too miserable. Shui Qingtuan looked at the house, hands on his hips, and sighed softly. Damn it, it's really too miserable, too suffering. Shui Dingyi's face turned pale, and he lamented in fear. Dad, enough. I've been kneeling for half an hour. Shui Dingyi, he said stubbornly. Does that little fisherman need us to go to this extent? He swung the whip and hit his buttocks. He shouted angrily, ungrateful son, your dad has been clever since he was young. How could he give birth to a fool like you? He cried miserably, don't hit me anymore. Dad, I don't want to be beaten to death. He hit him hard. I'm going to beat you to death." He angrily whipped him repeatedly. The people hiding in their houses peeked out and whispered, "That kid, I thought he would have a promising future entering the martial hall. But what happened? I said he would cause trouble. See, they've come to his door now." "No, when did you say that?" Liang Luowan's mother looked suspiciously at her husband. "We haven't even lent him any food before. Why is he still coming to find you?" Liang Luowan's mother. He shouted angrily at her, "You stupid woman, you don't understand anything. Once you've lent food, can you get it back?" Looking at his father's ill-fated horoscope. "You know, young family, don't be angry anymore." He frowned and looked outside the door. "Don't talk anymore, that brat's back." The sound of scolding continued. "Ungrateful son, retort." Liang Chu arrived home and looked suspiciously at the scene before him. "Beat you to death, Shwedingi, what are you people doing gathering in front of my house?" Shwedingi angrily cursed, "Stinky fisherman." Shwechingtuan hurriedly stopped, looked at him and praised, "Such handsome demeanor." He hurriedly ran over excitedly. "This must be the virtuous nephew Liang Chu, right?" He laughed obsequiously. "As expected, he is handsome and extraordinary, as calm as the wind under the pine trees, tall and dignified. No wonder he can become a true disciple of Master Yang." Shwedingi worriedly listened to their discussion. "Master Yang, is that Master Yang of the Yang Martial Hall? The famous hero Go Yang Dongxiong?" They said happily, "A true disciple, which means he has truly taken a master and kowtowed, half as his son and half as his father. Moreover, a shui was also accepted into the Yang Martial Hall. That Yamlei, even the county magistrate has to greet him." Their faces were shocked. "Even the county magistrate has to greet him?" He shook hands happily. "A shui is so great. I knew that this child A shui was no ordinary person. How old is a shui this year? Is it time to discuss marriage? This fair face is so cute." He frowned seriously, took the stick and handed it to him. "I really didn't expect my ungrateful son to do such dirty and shameful things. Today Liang virtuous son can beat him to death in front of me. I will let him suffer." He took the stick and smiled evilly. "However you want to beat him is fine." His cold voice rang out. Shwedingi heard it, and was afraid, breaking out in a cold sweat. "I am also not a vengeful person, but people live in this world. If the anger in their hearts cannot be released, I'm afraid it will be difficult to live long." He patted the stick, his face like a devil from hell. "Who doesn't want to live to be 100 years old, tell me?" Shwedingi cried and whimpered, trembling and begging for mercy. Liangji, I beg you, I really know I'm wrong, I really know I'm wrong. In the future I am willing to be your ox and horse. Please forgive me this once, I really don't dare anymore." He dropped the stick on the ground and said casually, "Okay, let's just let this matter go." He smiled and glanced at him. "You've suffered enough for the crime you committed, anyway. The mastermind wasn't you," he said in a trembling voice. "Thank you, Liangji." Shwechingtuan's voice rang out. "Wait." Shwedingi cried and thought, "Dad, am I not your biological son? Do you have to beat me today?" He raised his hand and a servant brought out a tray of silver ingots. "Liang virtuous man is generous. But I can't not know the meaning of friendship." Everyone looked at the silver in a panic. The silver gave off a dazzling light. 100 taels of silver. Oh my God, your son has never seen 100 taels of silver before. Liang Guangtian kicked open the door and came out, excitedly looking at the silver ingots. "Everyone move aside, this is my most beloved nephew." He smiled slyly. "This old man, I am Liang Chu's biological maternal uncle, a close relative. The compensation can be discussed with me." The people around him began to curse. "Liang Guangtian, do you have any shame? A shui was almost starved to death before, and we didn't see you open your door to help him." "That's right, when there is silver you become his biological maternal uncle, and even say he's the most beloved. I despise you." He arrogantly scolded. "Get lost, what do you people understand? How good his biological maternal uncle is to him, doesn't he know? Without me, would he have today?" Shwechingtuan looked at him suspiciously. "Liang virtuous nephew this is," he said expressionlessly. "Don't know him." He remembered the day it rained heavily and Liang Guangtian's wife and husband locked him outside. In the original owner's memory, this maternal uncle was not a close and beloved relative at all, but a bloodsucker. Until the original owner starved to death, he never gave him a grain of food. He smiled and looked at Shwechingtuan. "If you really want to do something, then the Ha then sacrifice ceremony in my hometown is coming up in a few days, besides the contributions of the major families. Healthy young people must pay 100 Vendong Tian. He said casually and walked into the house. If Elder Shui has the heart, then help supplement this amount, so that the villagers can save some money to keep for the Lunar New Year. By the way, also build a few kui stalls to distribute to the poor. In recent days, there are more and more beggars in the village. The people in the village cheered happily. Liang Virtuous upholds justice. Thank you, Ashui. Ashui upholds justice. Good child, I'm waiting for you. He closed the door and sighed, consider it over. He began to stretch his hand and exercise his body. The last time he practiced the skin in the martial hall, he felt that the skin had reached its limit. It was no longer as tight as when he first started practicing the skin, but a feeling of swelling. He touched his neck thoughtfully. If his feeling was right, he might break through the Pai Guan today. He filled the large jar with water. He put his hand into the water to test the temperature. The last breakthrough would generate far more heat than before. A slight carelessness could fry his brain, so he had to use physical methods to cool down. He stepped into the water jar and began to circulate his energy. Golden light emanated from his body. Now, he would begin the breakthrough. White smoke rose from the water jar. The smoke dissipated, revealing his stern face. He frowned, sweat pouring down his handsome face. Golden light rushed into his body like a tornado. He stood up, looked at his hands, and exhaled. He had finally broken through the Pai Guan. A water ball appeared in his hand. A rough estimate suggested that his current water control ability was about 500 Jin, a significant increase from before. He put on his clothes with a puzzled expression. But his fusion with the system seemed to have made no progress. He looked excited, never expecting the Pai Guan breakthrough to be so effective. If he broke through all 4 Guan, wouldn't he be able to control several tons of water? He stroked his chin with a smug look. His two abilities actually complemented each other, yielding double the results with half the effort. Nothing could be better than this. He unlatched the door and pushed it open, hitting someone. It was time to go out for a walk. The person cried out and fell to the ground. Liang Guanqian rubbed his nose and said sarcastically, "Isn't this my good nephew?" He looked at him irritably. "Liang Guanqian, what do you want?" He patted the cloth bag in his hand and said with a sly smile, "Uncle was afraid you'd go hungry, so I hurried to empty the rice jar to bring it to you." He walked into the house impatiently and replied, "Take it back and eat it yourself. I don't lack food now." In this world, rice was an extremely precious food. He quickly raised his hand and grabbed the door. Wait. He pushed the door hard, hitting him in the face. The door opened, and he fell to the ground. Blood flowed from his nose. He covered his face and shouted, "What are you doing? I'm your real uncle, your only uncle. I want your house to be mine too." He shouted loudly, attracting the villagers' attention. "Master Shui gave you such a large sum of money, but you won't accept it? Are you stupid?" He pointed at his face and shouted, "Shouldn't you take this money back to support your younger cousin, Xiao Lu? Elders are like fathers. I can be considered half your father." He narrowed his eyes, his face like an approaching storm. "Liang Guangtian, if you want to die, just try it." He stared blankly at him. He hasn't seen him for a few moments, but he has changed so much. Was he this tall before? He lay on the ground and began to wail. "Someone, come and see. Look at this ungrateful bastard. Once he becomes a martial artist, he's no longer human. He doesn't want to acknowledge his poor relatives anymore. I'm your real uncle, Xiao Lu is your cousin." A mouthful of saliva sprayed onto his face. A plump middle-aged woman put her hands on her hips and shouted, "Uncle, when Liang Chu's father passed away, did you help carry the coffin? When Ashui was hungry and had no food to eat, did you ever lend him grain?" The woman next to her angrily echoed, "And also, when they separated the family that year, if it weren't for your rascality, Liang Chu's father wouldn't have only gotten a single boat. He had to raise Ashui alone and struggled every day." He angrily pointed at the two and cursed, "Where did you women come from? Why are you meddling in other people's business? Be careful, I'll slap your mouths." A stick jabbed into his stomach. "I'll hit you first." The village chief's stick pressed against his stomach. He angrily shouted, "Now that Ashui has become successful, you come to demand benefits. Are you still human? You're not even as good as animals." Chenjian, the village chief Li Zhem. He raised his stick. He quickly covered his butt and ran away. Get out of here and don't let us see you again. Yes. He looked at Qinjian and thought, there's more than one village chief in Yixing City, but this village chief is the patriarch of the Qin clan, and his status is quite special. His reputation is also very high. Ordinary people don't dare to provoke him, and even Master Xiao has to show him some respect. He clasped his hands and bowed to him. Thank you, village chief, for your help. I don't know what brings the village chief here. He smiled happily and looked at him. I'm looking for you this time because I hope you can serve as the chief priest in this year's river sacrifice. He looked at him in surprise. The chief priest was the one who presided over the river sacrifice, similar to a high priest. This time, it might be a good opportunity. He suddenly remembered the notice about Du Chungu, the flowing river. Perhaps he could find out what that was for on the day of the river sacrifice. He calmly agreed, no problem, village chief. He replied, good. During this time, Liang Chu, you must memorize this sacrificial text. The next day, early in the morning, the sun shone high, and the flowers smiled at me. The sunlight shone on the tree where two small birds were standing. The little birds sang good morning. He opened the door and yawned. A voice rang out, why are you wearing a small bag on your back? He rubbed his eyes and thought, because I don't recognize many of the characters in this world, I have to follow my master's instructions. Moreover, I need to memorize the sacrificial text. So I have to. He put the small bag on his body, comforting himself. Reborn as a student in ancient times. Early morning in the classroom. The teacher's voice reading a book rang out, lazy all one's life, ease and wealth, look at the lowly, indeed due to incompetence. He smiled blankly, thinking, this is really annoying, only telling me to go to school. He sat awkwardly among a bunch of children. But shouldn't you tell me to go to elementary school? The boy sitting next to him pointed at him and tattled, Teacher, Liang Chu isn't opening his mouth. The teacher's hand tightened on the book. He slapped the book with a ruler and angrily shouted, Liang Chu, don't think too highly of yourself. For the school to accept a rude person like you is already giving your master face. He narrowed his eyes, his face full of contempt. You, an illiterate who doesn't know how much, can meet a good person like me. You should secretly rejoice. He closed his eyes and smiled slightly. Du zhong shang yi, lin guan wei zhong, xian sun li du pa shi qing, yixing bulan, and xian fu gui. He pointed one finger up and continued to read. The boy next to him stared in disbelief. Kandi xia jian, gui jianin wu ning, jiao bao yi ji, wan wu ju bei. He continued to read in everyone's astonishment. By chong chao mu, bing jia qi jia diao shou hu shi, za wu qi guai. He stood up and politely clasped his hands in the teacher's stunned expression. Teacher, I've actually memorized these already. I was an excellent student in my previous life. These are actually very easy. He smiled and said the problem, it's just that I feel the method of teaching characters in this school is a bit troublesome. He angrily pointed at his face with the ruler. Boy, how dare you be impudent? These are all inheritances from our predecessors through generations. Do you understand anything? What? He stared blankly at him, who was so angry that he was fuming. It's not that I look down on you, but what can you brute do? He calmly looked at him. The Fanxia method in the school is indeed a good way, but it's too complicated and requires a solid foundation. He continued to explain, but the method I research turns characters into symbols, and each symbol corresponds to a sound. He smiled confidently. I call this method the pinyin method. A voice rang out. The form is similar to the method of cutting characters, but it seems simpler. Lu Hingyi said with a kind expression, about the pinyin method you mentioned, please explain it in more detail. The children looked at him in surprise. Teacher C, it's the teacher from Deshun capital. The teacher respectfully clasped his hands and bowed his head. Teacher C. A bird flew across the classroom. He stroked his beard and smiled at him. That's really interesting. The teacher didn't think so and angrily shouted, his mouth is full of nonsense. Don't blame the predecessors. Strange powers and chaotic spirits are not worthy of entering my ears. He calmly recounted, the people of Deshan are rewarded for inventions. As long as they invent something useful, they will be given money, tax exemptions, and even titles. He thought of the cauldron. It's it. Only by making myself stand out can I prevent others from discovering my uniqueness early on. He looked at him happily. Liang Chu, you are exceptionally intelligent. Why don't you follow me to learn? The teacher wanted to speak, but he stopped him. Teacher C, can this boy do it? He turned his head to look at him and explained, Teacher Xiang, reading and martial arts are not divided into high or low, noble or lowly. This is what my teacher told me. He still didn't accept it and said, but this kind of rebellious thing. Lu Hengyi laughed, ha ha, Teacher Xiang doesn't need to worry, this matter will not involve you. He looked at him with a face full of confidence, what the students can't solve, let the teacher me solve. He looked at the sun high above, what the students can't break, let the teacher me break. He seriously bowed his head and clasped his hands. Under the river, Buning Dong and Quan Tu were playing with a ball. Quan Tu used a crab claw to push the ball. A fei made a chirping sound. Now wiggled his fins as if saying, little guy, use more strength. The ball flew away like an arrow, knocking Quan Tu away. The ball hit a fei in the face. The ball hit the river surface, mud flying up, scaring Buning Dong and Quan Tu, startling them. A fei lay there blankly. A crack appeared in the distance. Buning Dong and Quan Tu looked at the crack in confusion. Yang Chu swam after Buning Dong under the river. At night, the location was at the bottom of the river. Buning Dong looked at him happily. He smiled at it. Okay, I know that this time's contribution is from you, Buning Dong. He looked at the huge crack. Is this the passage you dug? It leaned against the rock wall, patted its stomach, and laughed happily. Next to it, a fei looked at it angrily. He laughed dryly and hurriedly praised, I know, Buning Dong is so good. He swam inside with a surprised expression. Unexpectedly, the space inside is so big. Blue light emanated from the roots of the tree. It turned out that this light came from the vine. It seemed that there was space above. He touched the roots, which felt a bit soft. He brought it to his mouth and bit it hard. He spat out a mouthful of air, basically unable to bite through it. He called out to the three small creatures, Buning Dong, a fei, Quan Tu, let's go up. He surfaced from the water. Inside was a blessed land. Within, there wasn't any water, it was filled with air. He looked at the vines wrapped around the entire cave. Did the wisteria all grow from this place? A dark shadow crawled up a rock. He tilted his head to avoid a creature flying past his neck. It crashed into a rock not far away. The strong force caused pieces of rock to fall off in chunks. He frowned and looked at it. Too slow, I already noticed you. In front of him was a long creature with countless legs and two large fangs in front. This was a water centipede. It lunged at him. Quan Tu used its crab claws to clamp it. The two separated. He looked at Quan Tu, evaluating it. It seemed Quan Tu had grown a lot. It raised its head and lunged. Its claws clamped across its neck. Quan Tu raised its claws high into the air. He praised Quan Tu, very good. He looked at the centipede suspiciously. It was a type of water centipede. It was said that the biting force of this species was astonishing. He looked at the blue liquid flowing from its mouth. More importantly, this creature had a weapon that even martial artists feared, poison. He looked at it, pondering. If he could control it, it would be like having an additional hidden weapon. Currently, there were enough slots for mental connections. He picked up a stone from the ground. He held the stone and cut his finger. The stone shattered into pieces. After breaking through the guan, his physical qualities had become stronger. A drop of blood flowed from his fingertip. It seemed that he would have to ask senior brother Lu to buy a hammer in the future. It would do for now. He raised his hand above the centipede's head. A golden talisman appeared on its head, the blood domination talisman. He gritted his teeth in pain, wondering, what's going on? Is a water centipede equivalent to a crocodile? He sat down on the ground, panting. He had dominated the water beast, Tianshui Wu. It could evolve. Luckily, he managed to hold on. He looked at the blue centipede. Since you're so strong, I'll call you away. Tianshui Wu centipede, a water centipede nurtured by water spirit essence, replenishes the blood and flesh of martial artists, undergoes mutation, can consume 10,000 points of water marsh essence to evolve into the great emissary Tianshui Wu centipede. He was shocked and stunned. 10,000 points. The points required for the tame beasts were getting higher and higher. He stood up and seriously asked, all right, where do you eat the water spirit essence? It crawled into a cave in the distance. The cave was dark and gloomy. He followed it inside. This was really too scary. He saw a skeleton faintly visible in the distance. A skeleton holding a box. This was. After a while, he and the three animals stared blankly at this scene. He looked at the sheepskin on the ground and stammered, De Quan Shui, Xian Feng, ended his own life here. He scratched his face, looking annoyed. Damn it, I don't know the other characters. He was startled and quickly turned his head to look around. It didn't seem like it had drifted here. Could it be that there was an ancient battlefield nearby? Then, could there be any remaining spiritual weapons around here? He looked at the box in the skeleton's hand. This box must contain the water spirit essence. Excuse me? He opened the box. Inside was a blue spirit mushroom. The remaining one was probably the one that Awei had eaten. He turned his head to look at the skeleton and smiled. Senior, I'll take you out later and bury you under a fertile piece of land, so you can rest in peace. He held the spirit mushroom in his hand and smiled confidently. Next is the moment of advancement. This time, I must break through the 50th hurdle. He sat down and began to divide the spoils. For Buningdong, 1/3. Scratch that, 1/4. A fei and fist, 1/20. Away, forget it. You already ate a whole one. He looked at the remaining 2/3 of the spirit mushroom. The rest is all mine. He put it in his mouth and began to chew. He jumped up and down, his face full of joy. So smooth and soft like tofu. So refreshing. Water marsh essence plus 216. He was startled to realize that it was even higher than the crab brick. If I've advanced, then I. He pressed on the notification board. Master Ding Liang Chu, refined marsh spirit, white water monkey, fusion degree 70.6%, water marsh essence 0, water beast domination crocodile Taiwa, consume 280 points of water marsh essence can evolve into crocodile Jiamu, water beast domination 6 whiskered catfish, consume 240 points of water marsh essence can evolve into tiger-headed catfish, water beast domination rock crab. Consume 7,600 points of water marsh essence can evolve into rock emperor crab. Evaluation: water monkey marsh spirit fusion more than half, comprehended talent skill. Blue light radiated all over him. He frowned and raised his hand to touch his chest. He looked startled as a red light appeared in front of his chest. It spread out like tentacles all over his body. He smiled as it spread throughout his meridians. He walked to the skeleton, clasped his hands, and bowed. He clenched his fist, his face full of anticipation, and returned to the water to test his ability. His whole body seemed to turn into water. Water surge die. He bumped his head on a rock. His nose bled, and his head spun like a top. It seemed that this skill was a movement skill, but it consumed a lot of energy, and was difficult to control the direction. He excitedly looked at the notification board. Travel 1,000 miles underwater. If it was true, it would be too awesome. Water surge die, protected by the river or can evolve into divine power. Travel 1,000 miles underwater. He raised his hand and a huge water ball appeared. This time, his ability to control the current had tripled, reaching 800 Jin, a surge. He remembered his pets. Buningdong and the others all have 200 to 500 growth points. Water beast domination crocodile Taiwa, consume 230 points of water marsh essence can evolve into crocodile. Jiamu, water beast domination 6 whiskered catfish, consume 210 points of water marsh essence can evolve into tiger-headed catfish. Quantu raised its claws and caught a small flower. Water beast domination rock crab, consume 7,600 points of water marsh essence can evolve into rock emperor crab. He stroked his chin, surprised to see a fei, who was sweating cold, surpassing Buningdong. This was not right. Forget it, it must have its own opportunities. Maybe it has a catfish system or something. He put his hands on his hips and laughed ha-ha. He looked at the notification board water surge die with some worry. The river sacrifice is in a week. During this time, I must try to learn from my master. Water surge die, protected by the river or can evolve into divine power, travel 1,000 miles underwater, because I have a premonition. He wondered, this must be related to the river sacrifice. Water surge die, protected by the river or can evolve into divine power, travel 1,000 miles underwater. In the village, a week later, late autumn and early winter, Li Liba knocked on Liang Chu's door. Shui, we should set off for the river sacrifice. He reached out to the centipede. Away, come here. It wrapped around his arm. It curled into a bracelet. He opened the latch. He wore a martial arts uniform and smiled at Liliba. Let's go, set off for the river sacrifice. The villagers gathered near the altar. A little girl in a red dress looked in one direction with a frightened expression. The little girl sobbed. Her mother hurriedly wiped away her tears, coaxing her. What's wrong, my darling? Why are you crying? She pointed in one direction, saying fearfully, There's a monster in the alley. Her mother comforted her daughter, You're talking nonsense again. Where would there be a monster in the village? She coaxed the little girl, Okay, don't cry anymore. Mommy will buy you candied haws to eat. A head appeared in a nearby alley. It opened its mouth full of fangs and growled, Become immortal, Liang Chu. Someone began to beat a drum to start the ceremony. A pig's head and a cow's head were carried up, offering gifts. The men wearing ghost masks waved incense sticks billowing with smoke next to the gifts. The witch doctor returned to his place. He raised the bundle of incense high. Chief priest, proceed. Liang Chu walked up to the altar alone. He stood in front of the altar. The person wearing the ghost mask shouted loudly, The sacrifice begins. He picked up the scroll and began to read, River God above, in the land of Yixing, where the Huai River borders, I am entrusted by everyone. Today, I lead the people to worship before you. I would like to read this sacrificial text. His two friends stood under the altar, looking up at him. The two praised with serious expressions, Great Shui. Liliba thought with some worry, I don't know what has happened to you, but we grew up together. Qin Jiexiong bowed his head, his face full of doubt. Are you really a Shui? The monster climbed onto the roof of a house. It looked up at the person standing on the altar. He looked at it in shock. This was the mountain demon that senior brother Lu spoke of. He looked closely at the monster. In the annotated compendium of miscellaneous records of Haomutang, which senior brother Lu showed him, there was a drawing of a mountain demon. The skin that cracked like dry bark was unmistakable. He recalled what was in the book. The shape is like a human, the skin is like dried bark, swords and spears cannot penetrate it. When small, it eats livestock. When large, it likes to eat the internal organs of humans. The little girl in the red dress suddenly turned around. The little girl screamed in fear, That's the monster. Mommy, that's the monster. A man raised his hand and pointed at it. It growled, What is that thing? It leaped down to the ground among the crowd. Everyone ran away in fear. Monster, run! He hurriedly shouted, Scatter quickly. The little girl in the red dress looked around in panic. Mommy, where are you? The mother frantically searched for her daughter. My dear, where are you? The mountain demon was startled. It pounced on the little girl from behind. He shouted irritably, Damn it, it's too late. Liliba rushed over, but it was too late. Oh! The mother rushed over, shouting in panic, My dear! Qin Jiexiong appeared and hugged the girl in his arms. The two flew out, and his back slammed onto the ground. The mountain demon growled and rushed towards the two. Liliba drew a flying knife. Damn it, Qin Jiexiong, hold on! He hurriedly threw the flying knife at it. I haven't been idle during this time. Taste my flying knife! It rushed over like the wind and ducked to avoid the flying knife. Liliba looked annoyed. Oh, it avoided it. Damn it, it's almost too late. The mountain demon opened its mouth full of teeth and pounced on Qin Jiexiong. Liliba was at a loss, only able to rely on Liang Chu. Shui, if you have any tricks, use them now. A blue light appeared between the mountain demon and Qin Jiexiong. He appeared above it, water surged pounce. He threw a punch, knocking it flat on the ground. He gritted his teeth, still a little scared. Just in time. Qin Jiexiong looked up at Shui with worry and panic, when suddenly the claws of the mountain demon appeared beside him. Perhaps now it was difficult to counterattack, and his expression became tense. He glanced at the water jar behind him. Damn it, it's too late. Shui turned his head and stared at the water jar, frowning and pondering. That is the water in the lake used for the sacrifice. The ability of water surge dye needs to rely on water as a medium. Then, create this condition. At this time, he had no other choice but to reach into the jar, as if he wanted to scoop out all the water inside. Up. Shui used his power to control the water inside to move forward. Give it to me. Jiexiong couldn't help but look up in confusion and surprise at the water flow. The water flow flew up strongly under his guidance. Shui angrily and nimbly stepped forward, using water surge die, raising his hand high and decisively using the move to eliminate the mountain demon. Jiexiong was stunned and bewildered, his expression dull. How could there be any leniency with it? With just his punch, the mountain demon was strongly pressed to the ground, and the surrounding bricks were shattered as if there had been a huge explosion. His whole body was filled with anger, his eyes full of hatred, gritting his teeth to deal with it. Just in time. Jiexiong stood next to him in panic and fear, sweat constantly flowing on his face. Witnessing this scene, he was a little shocked, his voice stammering, Shui, how, brother? He gently bent down, calmed down, and glanced at him. Brother Jiexiong, quickly take the child away. Leave this place to me. Jiexiong acted upon hearing this, carrying the girl in his arms, then turned back and ordered, I know, I'll come to help you later. He turned to look at the mountain demon that had just been hit, and couldn't help but wonder, why did this thing appear here? The ground below was empty, with broken bricks all around and vague streams of air flying everywhere. It's gone again. Suddenly, behind Shui, the mountain demon was rushing towards him, but he hadn't noticed it yet. Only then did Shui realize that something was wrong and turned around to block its attack with his hand. Oh! The two faced each other, and he gritted his teeth, trying to observe its every move. Too strong! Shui quickly used his skills to counterattack. His eyes were fixed on the mountain demon, ready to fight to the end. Now is the time! He swung his arm, using all his strength to punch hard into its body. Die for me! They were still fighting each other, when Jiexiong and Li Bao rushed over to help. Shui, we're here! The two took out their weapons, their eyes full of determination to destroy it. The mountain demon's hand seemed to have pierced into Shui's hand, and blood gradually flowed out. Enduring the pain, he looked at its hand, control him first. He turned around and told the two of them, pierce into his rib cage, don't chop. In front, the mountain demon was facing Shui. Hearing his plan, Jiexiong and Li Bao behind him rushed up without hesitation and pierced into its ribs. The mountain demon's eyes widened, and it raised its head, screaming in pain. Shui sighed, calmed down, and looked at it with contempt. You want my life? You're not enough like this. Without hesitation, his annoyance surged, and he immediately kicked the mountain demon, causing it to panic and fly away. It was just blown away without being able to resist. Shui stretched out his arm and ordered it, away, go. It flew straight to the mountain demon's body and bit its neck. Bite marks slowly appeared, and blue veins began to spread. Away's poison was not something to be trifled with, enough to make you suffer. The mountain demon's body began to tremble, and saliva flowed out. It raised its hands to cover its ears, and everyone behind was surprised to stare at the mountain demon. The people stood blankly, observing and whispering. It suddenly turned around and looked at everyone, and they shuddered, stunned. Shui grabbed a wooden stick and moved forward. Don't even think about it. Without wavering, he decisively threw the wooden stick forward. That wooden stick was not ordinary. It had a sharpened tip and a sword attached to the top, and it immediately flew straight into the mountain demon's body. Not stopping there, Shui did not let it rest, stepped forward, jumped up, and stepped on the wooden stick that was penetrating its body, gradually piercing deeper into its body. The mountain demon was caught off guard and could not resist, but only cried out in painful reproach. He looked at it, which had just been beaten to a pulp and was now lying on the ground. It's over, right? Hearing this, it tried to endure the pain and looked up to respond. Become immortal, the pond. Seeing the mountain demon being dealt with neatly by Shui, the public around turned to discuss and whisper with each other. What is he saying? He can speak. What kind of monster is this? The river god has come to punish us. Jiexiong and Li Bao walked up to him, complaining uncomfortably. The mood of the villagers has collapsed. Damn it, if this continues, people can't live normally. The mountain demon lay motionless there, and they seemed to be mocking it. No, this is a gift. Shui walked forward. This is an opportunity for our Yixing village. Jiexiong behind him silently looked at his strong back, a little absent-minded. Shui approached the mountain demon, drew out a sharp dagger, and raised it in front of it. After completing it, his face was still stained with blood, and he raised his head expressionlessly. This is the best offering to offer to the river god. Scene change. In front is a pillar that has been wrapped by ropes, and he keeps punching hard at it. The night sky is full of glittering stars. On this side, Shui is still persevering in practicing. He has stayed at his master's house for 2 days. The mistress let me stay at the martial arts hall to prevent affecting his master's actions. Sweat dripped on his face, gritting his teeth and enduring. The more he thought about it, the more angry he became. He was even given a valuable silver ingot equivalent to 50 taels for me to rest and live in the mansion. At that time, when he was given it by his mistress, Shui couldn't help but be excited and thanked her, taking it. Tell me if it's not enough. Back now, he looked blankly at his arm, and the wound, nourished by the mistress's flesh tonic, has recovered a lot. He closed his eyes, his face helpless, sighing that there was nothing he could do. His mistress and master suspected that the Guimu sect would launch a large-scale attack on the martial artists of the martial arts hall to refine pills, so they told me to stay at the martial arts hall for safety. Suddenly something shot quickly towards him, and he had already detected it. He then turned to use his move to counterattack. The thing was knocked away by Shui and then slammed into the wall. With just a few moves he easily dealt with that thing, glancing around defensively. Who is it? He excitedly fiddled with the loquats in his hand and turned to smile. Senior brother's vigilance is not bad, it turns out to be senior brother who. He picked up the stick in his hand and explained to him, I just came back and heard the mistress say that junior brother was here, and he really is here. Shui slowly stepped forward. Senior brother who? Did you just come back today? It's just a little matter. Come, do you know how to use a spear? Follow me and fight 2 moves while talking. Suddenly a stick was in his hand, and his face looked blankly down. Shui was not humble. Then I won't be polite anymore, senior brother. He spun the stick and smiled. Please teach me. Senior brother who was also not polite, holding the stick and smiling, spin the loquat forward. The loquat then flew quickly towards Shui, and he stared blankly in that direction. He took advantage of the loophole, taking advantage of Shui's attention to the loquat, and rushed over, and he quickly regained his senses and blocked the stick. In the night, the two just kept fighting. Senior brother who became stunned and held the stick firmly. Secretly observing, he smiled opportunity. He quickly jumped up, and it seemed that senior brother who had predicted that action and resisted. The stick in Shui's hand also fell out. Taking this opportunity, senior brother who swung the stick towards him. Smiling provocatively, come here, Shui did not hesitate to step forward. The loquat just fell to the ground. He slumped to the ground, sighed, and looked up. In the battle just now, senior brother who commented on Shui's fighting style, it seems that junior brother has broken through the Piguan. Junior brother's speed is indeed that of a person with a destiny. Shui was a little surprised after hearing this. A destiny? And the day for junior brother to check his destiny is not far away, and the master will explain it to you at that time. He reached out to help him up. Shui reached out and firmly grabbed his senior brother's hand, agreeing without hesitation, then let's continue. In the courtyard, the two practiced back and forth. Not enough, again, strength, don't relax, continue, stand up, continue. After a period of training, he couldn't stand up anymore, sitting down panting, sweat pouring down. Whose senior brother also sat down to rest next to him and discussed, what you said about the Xiao residence is generally no different from what I investigated. Except that I feel everything is a bit too much. Shui was stunned and sat up to ask again, a bit too much, right, it seems someone deliberately left clues. Whose senior brother pondered, maybe I'm a bit too sensitive, never mind. Suddenly remembering something, he reached into his pocket and took out an item. Right, junior brother, you just broke through the Paiguan stage. This book will definitely suit you. This book is the Gongjing Fa, suitable for those who have just entered the Paiguan stage like you. Shui looked at Hu's senior brother in surprise upon hearing this. He didn't forget to tell him, martial arts are divided into 2 major categories. One is moves, and the other is Jing Fa. Jing Fa is the method of circulating qi and blood. It is a deeper kind of control. Only martial artists who have broken through and possess a certain amount of qi and blood can use it. It is the way to control all the qi and blood power in the body, turning everything into one's own strength. You just finish reading it, and practice with me using this method later. Shui took the book and began to study it. He remembered something and turned to ask him, thank you, Who's senior brother, you still haven't told me why you were looking for me, almost forgot. It was 6th senior brother who asked me to come find you. Whose senior brother turned around happily and said to a Shui, Junior brother, sixth senior brother has crafted a spirit weapon for you. Scene change, Gui Mujiao dungeon, Huzi is being tied up by chains. He kept moaning, seemingly wanting to do something, Aunt Dad. Outside Huzi's cell, the people who were captured were also being escorted away by that person, move it. One in front and one behind observing them, this person is, Lan Guiyong. Seeing a little girl appear here, he felt a sense of loss, with a sad expression, sighing hopelessly, the same age as my little daughter. The person escorting the hostages saw Guiyong's expression and called out to him, Lin Ge, what are you doing? Martial Lord is still waiting. At this time, they stood outside Huzi's cell and discussed, Lord, the pill materials this time are also fully prepared. 3 days later, we can feed it to that guy. That's right, this guy is a precious mutant, we must serve him well. The pill materials are even more important. He is still enduring and wanting to resist inside. In the other prison cell, everyone could only sit there helplessly, some crying, some unconscious. Dad, Mom, where are you? Old man, wake up. A person lying on the ground coughed uncomfortably. He seemed to be trying to say something. Young master, spirit weapons have spirits. If they have spirits, they will have personalities. People with hot tempers often use explosive weapons. People with gentle tempers use soothing armor. A fire is burning, something is placed in it. He has to endure the heat to adjust it. People with gentle tempers use soothing armor. On the stove, the feather seems to be burning. The second stage is to stimulate the energy inside the feather, and then let black gold absorb it. Lu Gang waved his hand and did something. Flame surrounded it fiercely. This is Bianing Pai, lying between nothingness and existence. It can blend into the darkness to absorb blood food. Wait until your long spear is complete. Then look at it. He turned to order, Junior brother, quickly. A Shui hurriedly stepped forward, come here. He took the knife and decisively cut a long line in the palm of his hand. Spirit weapons need the blood of the weapons master to pour in, to complete the final step in forging the spirit soul. A Shui held out his hand, and blood began to flow down into the flames. The fire blazed fiercely. As if a dragon appeared, the two looked up in shock. Lu Gang gripped the staff tightly, his eyes fixed on the stove. With an impassive expression, he put the staff inside. The flames were gradually surrounding it. He gritted his teeth and endured it. Not good, the spirit weapon's spirituality is resisting. Lu Gang frowned irritably and pressed down, still stubborn even after death. Using all his strength to adjust it. Trying to create a fire that enveloped it. He breathed a sigh of relief and called out to a Shui, Junior brother, the weapon is ready, try it out. This is the spirit weapon that belongs to you. He stood motionless, staring blankly at it. Stepping forward to pick up the spirit weapon, he couldn't help but sigh, it's so heavy, at least more than 10 kilograms. He shouted and began to experiment. The sharp tip of the weapon stabbed into the ground, flashing light, and the bricks shattered. A Shui fiercely gripped the spirit weapon. Seriously examining it, he pondered, there is a connection of breath and flesh between me and this spear. Seeing this, Lu Gang happily pointed and told him, there are wooden stakes behind the courtyard, go try it out. Outside, a Shui kept practicing enthusiastically with the spirit weapon. He seriously focused on getting used to it. Witnessing this scene, Lu Gang clapped his hands and praised, good skills, Junior brother, you still haven't named this spear. A Shui smiled and looked at the spirit weapon, this spear, let's call it Fubo. It seems that Junior brother's weapon is finished. A sudden voice made the two surprised and turned around. Hu senior brother and Su senior brother Su Zizhou, they slowly walked over. He blankly stared at the marks on his face and asked curiously, Su senior brother, what is this? Hu senior brother helplessly whispered to him, let him tell you himself. Clearly the master sent him to inquire about news. Su Zizhou smiled awkwardly. Taverns and theaters are really suitable places to listen for news. Lu Gang interrupted the conversation between the two. All right, little guy, did you hear any news? I really did hear of a place that might be a stronghold of the Gui Mujiao. Returning to the memory, at the dining table, they exchanged laughter and jokes together, warmly welcoming him. At that time I was still admiring the flowers. Su Zizhou raised his wine cup to drink, and the girl next to him happily approached, but behind him a group of masked people were approaching. He glanced at them confused, really not knowing what these cultists were thinking. Wearing black robes in broad daylight, aren't they asking for trouble? Not letting him think, the girls there kept inviting him and bringing wine, young Master Su, drink some wine, drink mine. Zizhou closed his eyes with a bit of pride, only to be covered in their lipstick marks, so he followed them without any effort. I have found their stronghold near the Manhwa temple. Mission accomplished perfectly. Returning to the present, Lu Gang considered the problem. So it's at the Manhwa temple. It seems we need to continue the mission assigned by the master, with this situation. It seems that a direct attack is most suitable. If that's really the case, then we'll attack their stronghold and capture them tomorrow. Whose senior brother raised his hand and respectfully replied, Yes, senior brother. Suddenly Zizhou mysteriously leaned over from behind and whispered, This time Xiao will go with us too. Shui couldn't help but be stunned. Huh, is there something for me too? His expression became serious and gloomy as he advised, Junior brother, it's time you saw blood. You can't avoid this in the future. You must know that our master has quite a few enemies. Lu Gang suddenly appeared and punched Zizhou in the head. Don't listen to his nonsense. The sudden blow made him gasp in pain. He kindly turned to ask, Xiao, what do you think? Shui just smiled. I understand, then I'll go tomorrow too. Returning to the Gui Mujiao stronghold, Huzi was tied up there. The subordinate opened the door and led someone in, Steward Jing, this way. He excitedly reported when he was being held captive and sighed to him, Steward Jing, Huzi's spirit is not bad, he's eating quite a bit. His expression darkened as he approached, dismissing the subordinate behind him. Get out, don't disturb me and my son. He immediately smiled respectfully and replied, Yes, Steward Jing, take your time. Xingxiang spoke with a loving voice, My good son, you've suffered, if you hadn't become like this. His hand reached out to gently caress his terrifying face. Suddenly his face lit up with a sinister smile. How else could your father's great undertaking of becoming an immortal be accomplished? Scene changes to early winter nighttime, the mountaintop not far from Manhwa temple, surrounded by darkness. The captured hostages slowly entered inside under their supervision. One of them looked around in surprise and excitement. Oh my God, there's an extraordinary item in this batch of medicine today. The companion standing nearby was dissatisfied with him. Here we go again. This useless guy can't control his lower body. He excitedly laughed, Boss, just a little. Seeing this, the other looked at him with a contemptuous and annoyed voice. Damn it, hurry up, if you ruin the Emperor's business, you'll be a tasty treat. At this time, Shui's brothers had appeared, standing from afar, secretly watching their every move. Su's senior brother said it's probably here. Luckily, the master left behind Black Fang, otherwise we wouldn't have discovered the symbol that little guy left behind with its keen senses, he pondered as he observed. Suddenly barking, his eyes shining brightly, Lu Gang gently crouched down, caressed him, and gestured, Shush. Black Fang uncomfortably turned to him and complained aggrievedly. Shui looked around and felt like someone was missing. Right? Where did Su's senior brother go? Lu Gang glanced to the other side. Little guy, huh? Zizhou was quietly adjusting the arrow, aiming correctly at the target in front. Then he let go, and it shot out quickly. On this side, he cunningly tried to pull a girl along with him. Boss, don't worry, Before he could finish speaking, he was shot away by the beam of light from Zizhou. The girl next to him couldn't avoid being frightened. His whole body was pierced by that thing. Falling against the wall behind, the girl also turned around in panic. Seeing this scene, the one next to him shouted a warning in fear, Enemy attack, hurry. Whose senior brother saw the sign, Fourth senior brother's signal has arrived. Shui looked at him in confusion. Lu Gang rushed up and took action, Let's go. His whole body was full of strength, speeding up. They all attacked into their lair. Lu Gang stopped, and wisps of smoke surrounded him. They prepared their weapons and began to fight him. The wall with the city gate was unfortunately collapsed by Lu Gang. Shui opened his mouth in disbelief at the scene. This is the strength of Ben Ma. Whose senior brother turned to warn, Junior brother, what are you dazing for? It's our turn, okay. Lu Gang inside didn't need to use weapons, but was still calm, quick, and decisive in defeating them. The remaining ones also held knives and rushed forward at the same time from behind him. Before they could do anything, they were shot in the back by 2 arrows. He smiled proudly and looked up at the roof where Zizhou had just shot the arrow. Seeing Lu Gang's expression, he also gave a warm smile. Whose senior brother was constantly dealing with them on this side, Shui quietly observed his surroundings. One angrily pointed at him and ordered, Long spears are not suitable for narrow places, surround him. How could he stand still and let them achieve their goal? Holding Fubo in his hand, he quickly dealt with them, continuously finding weaknesses and stabbing them. Then he swung the spirit weapon violently to finish them all off at once. Hu's senior brother turned to instruct, "Junior brother, take Black Fang to find the hostages and lead them out." Yes. Inside the underground corridor, it was terribly dark, with only a little light that could shine through. Inside, they were all running away. Enemy attack, quickly go out to meet the enemy. One laughed excitedly, "It's finally over, I won't have to suffer this punishment anymore." The one standing next to him called out to Guillaume, "Lin Ge, let's run quickly. People have already broken in here." Behind them, they kept urging him, "The people of that whole temple, they're all dead, it's all my fault for letting that woman escape." Guillaume ignored them, feeling heartbroken. "There's even a child inside as young as my daughter." He fell to his knees in pain. "I can't take it anymore, we're all guilty, the guilty can't escape punishment." Seeing this, he couldn't help but be stunned. "Lin Ge, what are you talking about?" His expression stiffened, becoming absent-minded. Guillaume seemed to suddenly wake up and wanted to grab him. "Don't blame me, Liang. It's all Zhao Hongyuan and Jingxiang's fault. Jingxiang is still here. I still want to save my family. I have to go." He held the knife in his hand and stabbed down without hesitation. Blood flowed out. At this time, he walked over irritably. "Are you so scared by just 4 feints?" Jingxiang angrily immediately ordered, "Release all the imprisoned mountain demons, spread them all over the mountaintop." Hearing this, those people were a little hesitant and scared, but they couldn't do anything and still followed Jingxiang's orders. Yes. He was inwardly furious and irritable, grinding his teeth in jealousy. "Damn it, this must be a trap set by Zhao Hongyuan, sending me here again, and then these things happen." Jingxiang suddenly thought of the son who was being held captive. "But this is a good opportunity." Smiling excitedly, "As long as I get out of the secret passage, I still have a chance to turn the situation around." The light of the morning sun slowly appeared. Early winter, early morning, at the bandit stronghold. The 3 of them had finished dealing with them all, a bunch of scum. Their deaths are not to be pitied. Where did junior brother go? Whose senior brother turned to say to them, "He went to take those people down the mountain." Lu Gang was a little worried. "It's over on this side, I guess he should be coming back now." He felt something in this place. His expression suddenly changed. "I'm worried that the chi and blood in this place is too strong. It seems something is being hidden." The corpses here were scattered everywhere, and the smell of blood was strong. Scene change. At this time, a Shui and Black Fang were going deep inside, walking and observing both sides. Were there any other prisoners being held around? Suddenly, a large door appeared in front of them. "What is this?" "A secret passage door." Blackie sniffed around inside. He glanced down at it. Was Blackie reacting because someone hadn't escaped from here? He slowly placed his hand on it. The door slowly creaked open. Light from outside shone inside. Then suddenly the door slammed shut, startling a Shui, bewildered. Ahead, it was as dark as an endless road, with only faint oil lamps emitting light on either side. The system screen displayed, activating Soul Search and Demon Subjugation, current progress 0. Upon completing Soul Search and Demon Subjugation, you will gain the attention of the Transcendent Lord Emperor. Each time you reach a layer of Martial Dao Divine Connection, your Martial Dao talent will double, and your damage against water-type demonic beasts will increase by 1/10. A Shui stared blankly at the screen. Transcendent Lord Emperor, Soul Search and Demon Subjugation. Could this be a system mission? Blackie suddenly barked fiercely. Green eyes appeared in the dim darkness. Mountain demons. Unexpectedly appearing were countless others, so many, they all seemed to be minor mountain demons. He realized something and slammed his spiritual weapon down. "I understand now. If I don't defeat you, I won't be able to get out." His entire body emitted a powerful aura. "Well then, let's begin." The mountain demons rushed in one after another. After several days of training, his body gradually developed because the growth rate of the Zaidi was very fast. With just one kick, he sent one flying to the side. "Let's see how much I've grown now." Soul Search and Demon Subjugation progress. 1. A Shui gripped his spiritual weapon tightly, no hesitation. He hurled his weapon out, taking the initiative to attack. It didn't have time to react, and his spiritual weapon pierced through its body. Soul Search and Demon Subjugation progress. 2. A Shui quickly advanced, continuously dealing with them one by one. Soul Search and Demon Subjugation progress. 3. Soul Search and Demon Subjugation progress. 4. Soul Search and Demon Subjugation Progress. 5. Soul Search and Demon Subjugation Progress. 6. Only drops of blood remained on his face. Grasping his weapon firmly, determined to the end, come on, continue round 2. Thousands of minor mountain demons charged out. His subduing wave plunged straight into its body. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Xiao quickly ran towards the door ahead. 2 fierce demons suddenly appeared before him. He gripped his spiritual weapon tightly, ready to eliminate them. One move dealt with all the minor mountain demons blocking his path. Soul Search and Demon Subjugation Progress. 30. Soul Search and Demon Subjugation Progress. 31. He calmly looked down. It's over, huh? Behind Xiao, a voice rang out as the person slowly approached. Liang Chu, is that really you? His eyes were contemplative as he observed, there's someone else? He coldly provoked, I never expected the orphan who used to catch fish could reach this stage. Looking at the person who appeared, he knew who it was, Xiang. Gritting his teeth, he grabbed the person next to him tightly. You came at just the right time, just in time for a gift for you. Look, the fellow disciple of Lu Chongsan's good son has come to save you. Xiao was shocked. Lu Chongsan, this is Instructor Lu's father. He was not afraid of his threats, his eyes sharp and decisive. Xiang, my senior brothers are nearby. Today I will take care of you. He sneered in disdain. Take care of me? A loud noise suddenly echoed behind him. Witnessing the towering appearance of Hu Zi, Xiao became bewildered. What is that? Both he and the man faced each other. Come on, let us see who takes care of whom. Early winter dawn breaking, one of the strongholds of the demon mother sect. The 3 of them, Lu Gang, used light body techniques to quickly move through the forest. Zizhu maintained his speed closely following Lu Gang, then opened his mouth. Third senior brother, do we need to be this hurried? Senior brother Hu heard this and replied. That's right, the mountain demons we encountered were only at the initial skin tempering stage. Lu Gang's eyes became more serious than ever. Even I know what this situation is. Little Ninth encountering minor mountain demons is naturally not frightening enough. What's most frightening is if there's a major mountain demon among them, then that's definitely at the rushing horse realm. On the other side, Xiao was fiercely fighting with the deformed Hu Zi. He murmured to himself, since I was reborn, this is the most dangerous situation. Looking at the monster before him, it was terrifyingly large, with powerful arms. Its body was unimaginably huge. Xiao looked up to meet its gaze, finally concluding, there's no doubt, there's a primary demon with strength close to the rushing horse realm in this place. He pursed his thin lips, but how could he sit back and accept his fate? Remembering the things that had happened to him in the past, there were many things he couldn't let go of even if he wanted to. What am I kidding myself about? I worked so hard to get the life I have today. How could he give it up like that? He raised his spear, wanting to fight to the death with the monster before him. Danger was originally a part of life. Even a difficult and arduous life couldn't defeat me. He raised his hand, using all his strength. How could he be afraid of these things? Hu Zi furiously swung his hand, wanting to use his huge palm to kill Xiao. Xiao quickly dodged. Successive attacks came. Then, just as one blow was about to hit him, he quickly used his spear to block it. He retreated a great distance. But the man was still tirelessly launching attacks like a barrage of bullets. One blow landed with such force that the rocks shattered. But Xiao still used his nimble body to dodge. In the darkness, Steward Xiao exclaimed in surprise, Is this kid really only been in the martial arts academy for half a year? Hu Zi and Xiao continued to fight, exchanging blows, wanting to take each other's lives. Steward Xiao didn't want to lose. He encouraged Hu Zi, good son, kill him for me. Xiao naturally ignored his words. He only focused on fighting the monster before him. Xiao had defended for too long. Now he would attack, seizing the initiative. With just one blow, he stabbed straight at Hu Zi. It immediately spat out a lot of black blood as if it contained poison. After landing the blow, Xiao fell backward, coughing hoarsely as if he were out of breath. Only Steward Xiao was still laughing maniacally. Now do you think you can take care of me? Xiao heard the voice and raised his eyebrows. The difference in strength is too great, damn it. The transparent panel suddenly appeared. Many words appeared on it. The time for the mountain search and demon subjugation mission had ended. Calculating, Xiao exclaimed in surprise. What is this? The mountain search and demon subjugation progress is 32. The compatibility reached 3 layers. received the favor of the Transcendent Lord once. Received the favor of the Transcendent Lord Emperor's 80 once, confused with the Transcendent Lord Emperor's 80, partial, gained double martial Dao, water-type demonic beast damage increased by 1 part. The conclusion of the panel was, fuse or not? Shui sneered, this is my luck? But how could luck be a part of strength? Without thinking too much, Shui immediately replied, fuse. Immediately, he was transported to a completely unfamiliar place. Where is this? What is this? He didn't know what was happening. His body couldn't move. A blue dragon coiled in the sky. It looked down at him and opened its mouth. Divine Lord, are you really not leaving any face? Shui didn't know what was going on. Divine Lord who? The remaining spear-wielding person stood solemnly, uttering words of immense power, violating the heavenly law. There is only one way to die. Surrender is your only chance of survival. Shui's invisible voice now realized the truth in a panic. I am the Divine Lord. I have entered the Divine Lord's body. The dragon roared in anger. Blasphemy? Then, it didn't bother to argue anymore, wanting to attack directly. This Divine Lord's body seemed to be programmed. He opened his mouth. This move is called. Then, immediately made a ready posture. Outside, Steward Xiao was still smiling happily, seeing Shui not moving at all, not proficient in his skills yet causing trouble for me. His face changed more and more subtly, sometimes laughing, sometimes frowning. What am I doing wrong? I have come to this day only wanting to beg for a path to survival. He gnashed his teeth and said all his grievances. You people were born with the help of benefactors. While I only have my son, I can only beg for a path to survival. Looking like he was about to suffer a chi deviation, he kept roaring alone, then widened his eyes. I have fought for this position of head steward for so long. Zhao Hongyuan is an idiot with blind eyes. What do you people understand? Having vented his difficult feelings, he turned to call Hu Zi, his own son, to stand up, kill him. Sure enough, Hu Zi immediately stood up and walked towards Shui. Only, unexpectedly, Shui was the male lead. How could he easily lose? His eyes suddenly lit up. A loud explosion, a strong wind blew, so strong that it pushed Hu Zi away. Steward Zhao frowned. What is this? Shui stood up, only to see that he was surrounded by mysterious black gas. Now he looked completely different from before. His aura had changed, no different from the divine general in the illusion. He suddenly remembered a long time ago, on an evening twilight still clinging to the warmth of the world. Shui innocently asked his master, Master, how strong are the legendary fusion furnace and transformation rainbow realms? Yang Dongxun smiled kindly at his disciple. No one has seen it before, so naturally it's not very clear. But there's a name that's enough to summarize it. The realm of gods. And that so-called superior realm, Shui now possessed. He reached his hand forward. Slay the dragon. A lot of black water spread out. Steward Zhao retreated in fear. What is this monster? He knelt down to examine it. This is. Then he looked up and ordered Hu Zi, trying to appear mysterious, kill him. Hu Zi charged like a hungry tiger. The staff in Shui's hand spun violently many times. He didn't know what was wrong with the monster. It said a meaningless word, goo. Although Steward Zhao was sweating, he still sneered, indeed putting on an act. The next second, his face changed. Hu Zi was dissolving. What's going on? This. He painfully and desperately turned back, wanting to beg for help from his father. My son. In the last seconds, he also called out a meaningful sentence. Gu, father. Steward Zhao collapsed in pain. No, today, There's nothing left. At that moment, Shui on the other side suddenly fell to the ground. Seeing him like that, the hatred in Steward Zhao grew even larger. He cursed bitterly. It's all your fault. I just need to kill you. Before he could do anything, the stone wall behind him exploded. Someone had arrived. Lu Gang led the other two to the place. Indeed, there was still a secret room that hadn't been discovered. Senior brother who spoke, that's junior brother, what happened here? They didn't have time, went to pick up Shui. Zizhu exclaimed, it seems there has been a big battle. Steward Zhao hid in the shadows, resentful. Damn it, today I can only escape first to have a chance to turn the situation around. First, take junior brother out and then come back to deal with this place. Steward Zhao gritted his teeth. They're gone. Good opportunity. He walked to the entrance of a cave. Suddenly someone called him, Xingxiang. Lan Guiyong roared in question. Where are my family, my daughter, my wife, where are they? Xingxiang turned back and grumbled. Damn it, it's you, Lin Guiyong. What's with this tone? Now the head steward is me. Lin Guiyong lost control and roared, grabbing Jingxiang's neck. Where are my family? Tell me quickly. Jingxiang frowned and shouted as if not wanting to talk to this man anymore. Damn it, don't ask me, it's so chaotic now. Who knows where they are? His face looked like a man as he laughed mockingly. Maybe they've been eaten by mountain demons. As if provoking Lin Guiyong's sore spot, he widened his eyes. Then he took out his knife, wanting to kill the person before his eyes. One knife, accurately aimed at Jingxiang's neck, cutting through it. Blood splattered. Lin Guiyong was not satisfied. He continued to stab many more times with curses. If that's the case, then you go to hell to atone for your sins. Having solved the problem, Lin Guiyong left, going into the darkness. There's still a chance. My family might still be alive. It hurts so much, like my whole body has been ripped open. The divine general was still fighting with the dragon. The two sides continued to fight day and night. The divine general turned his head, his eyes bright like amber. That's what Xiao finally saw before opening his eyes. He looked around, wanting to confirm he was still alive. This is my master's room, am I not? Fighting with mountain demons. It seems that the battle ended while I was unconscious. Did my senior brother save me? The green system appeared, fused with the transcendent Lord Emperor Zadie partial. Received the first level of martial Dao divine connection. Doubled martial Dao talent. Water-type demonic beast damage increased by 1 part. That's right. This is the reward for mountain search and demon subjugation. I didn't expect the Zadie could fuse with the divine general. Xiao propped himself up with his spear, wanting to stand up. He picked it up, examining it for a while, wanting to check if we're talking about martial Dao talent. Immediately there were results. Indeed, doubled martial Dao talent helped me understand martial arts more deeply. I can feel the subduing wave, it's absorbing. A spark appeared. This is growing bigger and bigger, 3 inches thick, 2 inches long. I can already refine flesh. This shocked Xiao so much that he only accepted it after a while. Only 2 months since entering martial arts, and he's already started breaking through the 2nd level. This is the opportunity the Zadie brought me. At this time, someone pushed the door open. The person speaking was senior brother Hu. I didn't expect junior brother to have such spirit after just waking up. Xiao turned back to look at them. Recognizing the people who arrived, he immediately went to greet them. Senior brother Z, senior brother Hu. Hello. Senior brother Hu nodded. It's nothing. This time we came here wanting to ask you a little about the matter in the secret room. Xiao also told them everything. After defeating the mountain demons that Jingxiang controlled, I was powerless and fainted, so senior brothers don't know about the major mountain demon. It seems I have to be careful, otherwise the Zadie matter will be exposed. Zizhu touched his chin. So that's the case, but Jingxiang has already died at the scene. Xiao was indeed shocked by this news and exclaimed, dead? Could there have been someone else hiding in the shadows watching me at that time? His eyes became quiet. He felt something was wrong. If it wasn't someone from the Xiao mansion, then why didn't he come out to help me? Senior brother Hu smiled reassuringly at Xiao. Then I'll report Jingxiang's matter to master. Junior brother, you must rest well during this time. The next plan will probably be a sweep. Zizhu had been thinking for a long time, finally smiled. I heard from junior brotherly that your residence is almost finished renovating. Congratulations. This was indeed good news for Xiao. He was feeling flattered, renovating the residence. Soon, he went to the place they were talking about. This is my residence. Looking at the people diligently working, still talking to each other, this is the 2nd courtyard, right? The Liang family has returned. When Lu Qianfu saw Xiao, he smiled very brightly. Liang family, see how it is, we designed it all based on the 2nd courtyard. Xiao also smiled in response, and bowed to them. Uncle Fu, don't call me Liang family, you're older than me, just like before, call me Xiao. Li Zhang was also present. He smiled happily at them. You saved our people, this is everyone's intention, and everyone also donated money for you. Xiao of course dared not accept this, and replied apologetically, Grandpa Li Zhang, this is not necessary. And the people on the other side didn't want him not to accept, persuading him. This money is considered everyone's advance wages, plus 2 meals of rice porridge a day. The remaining money after the house is built will be subsidized to everyone. Unexpectedly, Xiao replied like this, actually, there's rice porridge, now it's more expensive than meat. As soon as he said this, the people carrying things stopped. Then suddenly they all shouted, Liang family is righteous. Liang family is so handsome. Liang family is heroic. As Shui smiled happily in the cheers of everyone, Liang family, Liang family. That's right, is the town nearby still okay? Li Zhang nodded. Thanks to Shui's help, the Yang Family Martial Arts Academy has sent 2 chi-tempering martial artists to help us guard it. That is, they look a bit fierce. Hearing this made Shui not know what to say. Priceless, very normal. He looked up at the sky, where there was a star, saying to himself, the original owner and his father can see this scene, probably even more happy. Finally, from his memories, he became determined. I will try to live on. Night fell. Shui stood by the stream in contemplation. The last boat was broken. If I want to go out to catch fish in the future, I have to get a new boat. He tried walking on the clear blue water. Since awakening the Zaidi, I have been looking forward to this scene. Before, no matter what, I couldn't remember the moves I learned from the Divine Lord. In my dreams, I originally thought it would fail. Walking and expressing his thoughts. But unexpectedly, he could control the water to this extent. Even deep water could be avoided and controlled. Really. In another place, Xiao Hongyuan was kneeling and begging frantically, Lord Envoy, what to do? He cried uncontrollably, grabbing the hem of the other person's clothes begging, the big stronghold has been broken, even my closest head steward Jingxiang has died there. He was both talking and trembling in fear. Those people have killed more than 100 of our mountain demons. The Lord Envoy felt dizzy hearing this, not wanting to listen anymore, kicking him hard, crying, you only know how to cry. The Lord Envoy's face was dark, his pupils were crimson, his mouth uttered a few cold words. The fruit is about to ripen. Why did this happen? How could the big stronghold be exposed? He turned around, his face even more corpse-like, gritting his teeth. So many of our strongholds have been lost. Is the talent still enough? After a while, he turned to order the person kneeling, Master Zhao, you go arrange a boat. We will return to the sect immediately. Zhao Hongyuan was still frightened by the Lord Envoy's kick. He quickly obeyed. No problem. I will prepare a good boat for the Lord Envoy tomorrow morning. Not forgetting to bow his head in thanks. Thank you, Lord Envoy. Thank you, Lord Envoy. Zhao Xianyuan spoke from the side. Father? Zhao Hongyuan looked at the tree next to him, speaking euphemistically. I planted this apple tree 5 years ago. But the apple tree has never borne fruit. Speaking halfway, he asked Xianyuan, why did father keep this apple tree? My son doesn't know. Zhao Hongyuan continued to explain, because an apple tree that doesn't bear fruit is also very valuable. Every day it can attract birds and beasts to provide food for us. Relating to reality, Jingxiang, Lin Guiyong, Lu Xiaohui, these people are birds and beasts. We have been eating them alive since they were young. That's natural selection. Zhao Xianyuan trembled slightly. Jingxiang too. Then he turned to say loudly, Jingxiang coming to the big stronghold is also someone. All of this is. The scared expression he had earlier had long disappeared. Now he was a completely different person. The tree will rot sooner or later. Sooner or later it will be unreliable. This rotting tree, the demon mother sect, must fall. Saying this, he gave the box to Zhao Xianyuan. You send someone to give this to the kid Liang. Tonight we will board a boat to Huangzhou. Let the Huang family army have a headache with these messy things. The next morning, Shui walked around, hearing praise everywhere he went. It's senior brother Liang, so handsome. There was also gossip to hear. I heard he can kill dozens of mountain demons alone. Mountain demons are really good at eating people. Dozens, I heard it's hundreds. Shui felt helpless after hearing this. Thinking of that green-haired person he was tired. The more it spread the further it flies. Probably from senior brother. Suddenly his eyes lit up. Ahead, all 4 of Lu Gang were standing. It's senior brothers. Senior brother who quickly saw Shui from afar. It's junior brother Liang. Little ninth, come see what the Zhao mansion sent you. Shui pointed to himself. The Zhao mansion, sending me things? Opening the box, looking over he wondered, these are land deeds and a letter. Zhao Hongyuan's ghost-like face appeared in his head. Those store land deeds, worth 2,300 taels of silver, consider Zhao's apology. The other things consider Zhao's gift to everyone. As welfare, if fate allows we will meet again. Zizhu picked it up and read it, frowning and saying, it seems, this Master Zhao is not ordinary. It clearly states the escape route and time of the demon mother sect. And the person receiving them. Senior brother who also thought of a reason, maybe the news of your stronghold was also intentionally leaked by someone. Zizhu nodded, then the people of the Zhao mansion. Lu Gang seriously acted like an older brother walking towards them. I'll ask Master for instructions on the next steps. This retreat route, we must not leave any escape for them. A month ago, old Lu went out to bring food for your wife, right? That's right. I was afraid she would be hungry while watching the boat by the river. Old Lu is really a good man, only intending to praise when he was interrupted by someone behind him. That's right, what's your place? Hurry up and supplement it. Old Lu happily greeted them and left. I have to hurry, otherwise my wife and Achu will be hungry. Walking very fast, old Lu arrived at the boat dock. Hurry up, hurry up. His smile was even happier. Achu. But accidents often happen to good people. He was held at knife point by a stranger. The last scene before losing consciousness, he only thought of his wife and child. Food, for my wife. Not knowing what happened, a hand picked up the lunchbox. Old Lu was no longer old Lu. That smile was as cold as ice and snow. I have to go, deliver food. Leaving behind a pile of unrecognizable meat.